If only maintaining that spell were a bit easier. Certainly doesn't make it easy. Having to mildly have a bit of concentration on it. I don't want to keep her waiting though.
That one also supposed to be good.
I'm not sure. Don't use whisper.
I'm not.
It's, you are really quiet. Did you use whisper at all? Oh, now you're... You are just really, really quiet, and actually you got quieter. If you turned on whisper at all, it can desync. Just be aware of that. If you're talking to me, I can't hear you, Winston.
Fuck. I guess I'm running out into the woods and rejoining the map.
Yeah, just do that real quick. Yeah, try to avoid hitting that.
Well, hello, my fellow facilitators, if I watch from above.
Hello, Varus.
Morning. Come on. Definitely come to the top of my room. Good morning. Late in the day, did you want to head back out there? Didn't have a chance last week.
Yeah, we could.
Hey, Rena, Varus. Good to see you too.
Morning. Morning.
Oh, there you are.
Oh, there you are. Where'd you go?
Well, look, I just thought we'd having a morning walk, okay?
Oh, I see.
What?
Good morning.
Nothing wrong with that?
How you doing, Hunter?
Good. How are
You
you?
look so cute in that dress, by the way.
Thank you.
You're adorable. Get some breakfast.
Yeah,
come
sure.
have breakfast with us.
They should be fine without me in the morning. Just for a bit. Can I help you?
Morning.
Good morning. Just waiting for them to be up and about.
I've been having a bit of a frog in my throat. Any problems you can hear?
No. You sound fine to me.
Oh. Very good. Alright, well, have a good morning. I'm sure I'll, see you later.
I'm certain we shall.
Hello.
Good morning, my friend. And how are you?
I do believe I'm quite well. Even more so that now I have someone to share it with.
Well, I'm glad. I have more tea for you as always, my friend.
I wait out there for more than just the tea, but the thought is certainly welcomed.
Well, that makes me happy. It always is nice to wake up and see you in the morning.
Then I'm stuck.
No. Why I'm tolerating this.
So, sorry, is it open?
Tolerating. Interesting choice of words.
Check.
I could use different words.
Okay.
Suppose it is.
But every time you turn
Well, I don't
around,
know.
you practically knock me out with that thing.
Well, okay, look.
Hey, just be careful.
Look, he
you have a
just
couple people
needs
behind you,
to.
too.
You just need to have a wide, but well, it's not like I'm going to be swinging around and hitting them. They're already the appropriate distance behind, aren't you?
Oh.
Well, that's more of you're also taking the space to pass, my friend.
Yes.
I am staying a very healthy distance away.
Is it open?
Okay, it's
No.
not open. So
Well,
you've just gone
not yet.
inside.
I
there,
stay a
you've
very
gone
healthy
inside
distance
the
away.
hallway.
It's gonna burn down just because the door isn't open.
Ah,
I
wood as
also
well.
have the key.
Oh, okay.
You can make
Wait,
it.
I also
you-
worry about that time he nicks a door frame every time he doesn't
And you're
duck.
carrying a very heavy
Ah,
package.
so much.
Sometimes it just happens to be like that.
Recognize that tail, that new.
No.
I suppose it would just mean
I
that
don't
it
think you
give
want
the
to carry that
carp.
around with you.
It just makes the carpenters have more to do.
How have you been? Has the cold been getting?
Like the carpenters don't have enough. I'm still trying to figure out how to plan to rebuild that.
Are we good to eat?
So, how far away is it?
Something I do not pity you for at all.
So where is the who is the owner?
Mine, I'll take any help I can get. Building supplies tend to be our, well, limited resource at the moment.
I imagine the.
Half tempted to start taking apart part of the wall for it.
Would have quite a time. I wonder how she.
The idea, after all.
Are there any Lamias other than the North?
I don't know.
How are you doing, Virus? Doing alright.
My goodness, the only one that's a little different.
Oh, we're waiting for the cafe to open. Are you gonna join us for breakfast?
Dyson breakfast?
Yeah, I guess we should play more dice tonight.
I haven't seen it.
Okay. All right. Sure. So.
Look,
Did you get all been hard to fish?
Are we doing?
to be
Yeah?
I swear.
No. For the life of you.
Do you
Well,
know how to fish?
true.
Servo?
But anyway.
No, but
Ah,
So.
I would be glad to
Miko, do you
join.
know
if
where
have-
Sienna's at? She wanted me to talk to her this morning as well.
Well, given the fact that the cafe is also her abode, she probably just isn't up and about yet.
I'm not quite fully.
Oh, speaking of out and about,
Is it still closed?
Morning with you.
Yes, there's still in their rooms.
I always
my
try,
friend.
could always try to climb up onto the upper level, see if I can unlock it from there.
Yeah?
with, with this weight on my back, no thank you.
If I can go in.
I never
Well,
said
that's the
you.
way to try
I
and
never
drag
said
up.
Some
you.
berries.
I thought
Ah.
that was
Something I'd know.
You don't want some pastries and custard?
Anyways,
But
yes.
I mean,
It's
I'm
a-
hungry, and I don't really want
A
to
jar
wait
for you.
around.
Oh,
You're
you're
I know
such
there's
an
some
impatient baby.
delicious-
It'll only be a
Excellent.
while.
Delicious down there. They're delicious.
Well, I
Anyway.
should probably
They're
put this
also
away.
dirty, and
Well,
you have to
Miko,
pick so
actually-
many of them just to fill up.
Yes.
If you have a moment, I could at least inform you. Same thing with Tia, it's going to be talked at the tavern anyway.
Later, if you'd like to join us.
Oh,
Um,
oh yeah.
All
I can
right.
eat fish, I'm sure.
Albeit,
I'm not
what-
sure if you read the news article
You
this
realize
morning.
he fishes by slapping them out of the water.
It's perfectly fine.
Am I part of this conversation too, or are
What
you?
about
The letter I put in it.
To learn how to use my tail to fish.
Oh yeah.
Sure.
Wait.
I need help,
You can use your
really.
tail and then So what? Do you?
Sure, I will hear about it.
Are you right with
And you are
disappointing
asking.
As someone
you're
who's a
asking
citizen of the
little
background
only.
at some
Well,
point, doesn't it? Speaking of,
I need citizens of the Empire to help.
I was gonna say you'd have,
As I've mentioned, we're in a bit of a
you'd
pickle,
have a bit of an issue, wouldn't you?
and I can't think of any other way at the moment other than contacting the oracles for help.
Al, I came
And
across.
with winter on the way, my options are getting slimmer and
I
slimmer.
ask you, as I was told to ask the other worlder who deals with herbs and such,
I
to
see.
tell me about some of the things that I found around here, and frankly,
I talked to
Say-
Sienna about putting something up, but they showed hesitation, so I respected that.
it's quite
Ended up hanging it up on my door.
regardless.
But I still
would
wanted
just
to
make
talk
us
with her if
nervous
she had
they don't
concerns.
open, but
You might
I don't
be
have
able
a stove or
to,
anything yet.
Well, I won't profess to be able to speak for her.
done a lot of work
So-
around here, and I'm very familiar with the area.
I've asked around.
But if it is,
Informed with these berries.
if it is help that you require with that,
It's good for baking.
I can always take it on myself if I have to.
Yeah, that's
Leave her out of
mostly what I
it.
do.
Something like that.
I usually bake everything I eat.
Well, if she has any concerns and I can't reach her, I'd rather try and address those for her.
So much
Seems to
easier.
be green
Of
from the
course.
berries
I understand
and
that
red
it's been
on
pretty
the
hesitant, especially after Kazlik's murder. But again, I'm running out of options.
I don't know. I might just.
An Imperial sense is not anything to mess with.
Should not be. Your body might not.
Well, I don't.
But
Did
are
they ever?
quite safe for
Did
you.
they ever even give a reason for why they gave us Censure in the first place, or were they
But
just
what are they called?
Oh, I see movement.
It was due to the issue.
throwing their weight?
We're
around?
far on the outside.
Well,
Oh, hello.
To go just to get.
Once the outsiders came in, this town kind of fell out of the hands of the Empire, and as we tried to reclaim it, we've met resistance, not in the sense of people, but of bandits and other
Right
things.
there, right?
We were trying to fix it. Kazlik was supposed to be that diplomat to, well, remedy that issue.
No?
But with his death,
Different slime.
I did.
we have no diplomat, we have no speaker.
A friend of
Yes,
mine
I
had a
And as much as I am of the Empire, I cannot speak for it. I'm just a soldier to them.
I haven't really seen any of them
But
myself.
they'll listen to me at least, and that's what I'm hoping to use.
Rez, don't be rude.
That was a night harvest?
it is a bit of a shame that you only look at yourself as just a soldier in their
being
eyes. You could be so
hungry.
much more than that.
Like you are.
Potentially, but at
They
this
smell
moment,
quite odd, don't they?
So
I don't believe I have the right to say much more than that.
You can eat them, but I don't think you would want to eat a whole lot of them. I believe your
Perhaps-
stomach would
Perhaps a
appreciate
point to disagree on,
Oh.
but
snack in the meantime.
again,
Well, what else could they be?
it would certainly make
If only
things
you knew.
Maybe a potion brown.
interesting around here
Possibly.
to have
Although
such a
potion making is out
distinguished
of my
visitor.
I'll have to talk to.
I can certainly provide a
I
bit
think I
of
don't have my own concerns.
You may want to talk to the alchemist who also think. Yeah,
Yes.
Well-
thinks might be the one to talk to. But
Oh,
I'm listening.
Very well.
It is your
we
idea.
still never caught
after all.
whoever.
Well, ooh, the door's open.
Yes, but whoever murdered Kazlik is still out there.
I'm not entirely sure because.
Thus, I'll have to be very take extra precautions to make sure nothing happens. Especially with the outsiders around. I haven't leveraged that, but that'll probably get their attention as well.
I am not going to try.
I know Harry is in there.
Apparently, one of them reached out to someone of that area. Imperial letter and such, so maybe they already have contact and I don't know about it.
Although,
It's actually edible.
Really?
I think Zia went in there.
Not
as well, so
edible.
there's at least two of them there.
I did not catch it.
Okay.
It was a harpy that delivered a letter looking for someone there.
I see.
it was a- Mhm. I meant to look into that more later, but
Did they give a name at least?
at the moment I'm stuck.
Oh, really? Okay, alright, sure.
I couldn't quite tell. They were spastic little harpy, full of energy, so you know how they can be.
Oh, that harpy. Yes, I
Speaks a
remember.
mile a minute.
Yes, I remember them. Now, let's...
Just
But...
patient, be patient.
The longer I wait here,
But you haven't found them.
the less time or the longer
I
it
highly
takes
doubt
to
that is
No.
on account of not
from the outside.
making an effort to look.
I might just, you know what? No,
Plans? Plans.
It
My
takes you
resources are limited, you could tell.
berries. It'll
As
just-
the only god in this town,
The amount of time you would take for you to
I
collect
don't have
berries,
much.
it would
A
actually
captain
take
of
for you to
one.
fill up on. But it's just the amount of
Then
time
what
you
resources would you
Again,
be able
that
to
is
pull
my own
upon
fault.
in order
Okay, now you're
to
more than welcome to
provide
go in.
security to someone like an
It's
oracle?
time for real, yes? Yes. We are open shortly.
Thank you.
I guess you can always rely on my sister.
Okay.
And Vela tends to be somewhat dependable. When she's not scampering off.
Good morning, Sabrina.
Hmm.
But I'm also thinking of making an appeal to the outsiders.
Take a walk around town.
They seem curious. One was asking about oracles, and so
Well,
perhaps I can
there is a bit
strike a
of
deal.
I've made some fresh
This
jars of
happened
jasmine
after
syrup
all the
that you
outsiders
should
were in
try.
town. We can't discount the possibility that one of them could have potentially been the one to have instigated a problem.
Well, actually, I have a reason to not fear them in that situation. I received information on what the poison was and how I got it, and I do not believe the outsiders have any access to this. Let alone do they know what it is.
I'll be up there soon.
You would know more about it than me. I did not have any hand in that investigation.
And how are you this fine morning?
And for
But
the
if you're-
time being, it
But
is
if you're certain
on
about
and
it, I
off.
will trust
For a
your
second that I might have
intuition
to
on that.
take this out because the
But-
bear was getting a little pokey, saying how hungry
Worst
he
case
was.
scenario, I may.
Well,
If there's a shortage of people, if this plan
Well, for the
goes
most part,
through, I
many
can
of them are
certainly
quite hungry all the time.
find some way that I can make
As
myself
long as he's
useful.
not causing any issues, it's more than fine.
You know, I very much enjoy being around here,
I
and
was a
I'd
bit
like it
worried
to
when he
not
kept
be
asking me, "Am I
looked down upon by
Oh,
the
dear,
Empire
not Edward.
and some of the
No.
eating me
I
would
do
be
believe
real
he was
bad
in
on your
jest,
tummy."
but
snooty types that
It's
like
more or
to
less-
meant it in jest.
speak a lot of words but not
Should
make
he
a
actually
lot of
try doing
appeal
something
to
like that
emotion.
you, please let us know so we can take care of it.
Well,
Or
right now I just need some support to keep the town from falling into disrepair. I've already talked to
believe
Nixa
so,
about
too.
trying to secure some trade routes with her connections.
understood.
Of course, of
But other than that, we're
course.
just dwindling.
A bit of a walk.
Oh,
good luck
as
on
much as
your-
I sometimes hate fancy words myself,
And you as well.
they're useful in their points.
Yes, they do have a
This is
habit
one of
of
those.
getting people to at least open their ears for a moment, if only to figure out what it is that the person's trying to say. Well, in either case,
But
everything is open, so there's a
I-
good chance that Sienna
Yes,
may
I
be
will.
up there, if you'd like to make your appeal to her, and if there are still concerns, then by all means come to me. I'm sure I can be... I can act separately
I'll
from
let you
here.
know.
I may work here,
I
but I'm
appreciate
not
that.
beholden to them if I want to go off and do my own thing, too.
To be honest, since we still don't even know how Aslik was poisoned, per se, because we checked everything up and we couldn't find any of the source, doubt I could even get them to eat here, so they might be precautious of their own. I've already let them know what did it, so they should already be aware if they do come down, that is.
I see.
If there's any way that I could help
Nothing
you,
against
if
the
there's
tavern.
whatever that you... I don't know what I could do to help you, but...
So I have just
I
had
don't
my
want
third
to
person
have
since
any
rejoining tell me
worry.
they can't hear me and I'm whispering. This may be an
I'd
issue.
say, if anything, help spread the word.
I think you're just generally rather quiet.
Because I can't think of anything
That
else at the
doesn't
moment.
make sense. I
other
haven't
than
changed
getting support.
anything.
That's the first step.
Of course, of course. Well, that much I can do what I can, at least as a citizen.
I usually come through super loud on people's streams too, which is weird.
Is there something you needed of me, Varus? I heard overheard last week that
same.
you were looking for me.
Yes, I was looking for an herb. I was able to find it, so.
I'm
Though
glad then.
I might need some help finding it on a weekly basis. Aloe is mostly what it is. You said you tend to grow some of it.
I grow quite a bit of it, actually, and I have a good surplus. If you would like, I can give you some of it now. Come.
Yes, please.
I will happily...
If Sienna asks, I will be there momentarily to talk
Yes, I'll go take a look.
Yeah.
Good morning, everybody.
Morning.
Someone's in an energetic mood today.
Good morning.
That'll be 6 Taylor.
No, she's fine. Yeah.
Oh, she's good?
We have an arrangement
okay.
with the sisters.
Yeah. All right. Okay.
Excuse me.
Well, there's some girls and some sisters that have an allergy to it, and it gives them a horrible stomachache.
In some places, Liz, Charlotte is.
You should join us for breakfast if you can. Unless you have to work.
They get really detailed.
Sorry.
So, seems like we are staffed now.
Okay, there you go. Yes, thank you.
I guess I could
Cream milk.
Just drag over a bench.
All work. Thank you very much.
You're quite welcome. Thank you.
Sienna, Varus is probably going to be by in a bit, wanting to check in with you. Just giving you a heads up. He's just with Lotea for a moment, picking up herb that he was looking for.
I see. Well, I suspect I know what he needs to speak about.
Given what I
Speaking of, could
I
steal
was
you for a
talking
moment?
about, yes, it's probably exactly what you think.
Step upstairs.
Did you put some grass in
Drink your tea. Drink your tea. It'll help. Drink your tea. It'll help.
What? Okay, sure.
Is everything quite alright?
That's weird. That is weird.
He ate it a little too fast.
What is this? That made my brain feel weird.
Well,
That
don't
made
eat
my
it
head
fast.
feel funny. What do you mean don't eat it fast? What is it? What is it and what's it doing with my head?
Here's some pastries. It's just cold. It was got. You ate it so fast that it made your brain cold or something.
My head definitely felt tingly. But that was very weird. Very weird.
Yeah. So where did you get hot chocolate from?
I'll be heading out there later today, hopefully.
I think so. It was one of the.
Good morning.
Stay safe out there.
Anything that I can get you out here, are you good?
I'll have Rena with me.
Oh, I'm just out here because it's impolite to smoke inside.
Very considerate.
How are you doing, my darling? You're looking fabulous today.
I am doing positively radiant, thank you for asking.
Oh, radiant. We do know words here, don't we?
Still.
Our educated women we are.
Still, the point stands. Is there anything I can get you?
You think you can get me? No. I could enjoy some company, though, if you're not too busy.
I believe they have everything handled in there for a bit, now that everybody is present. The table inside has been mostly handling their own, so...
Yes, there's always 1 to 2 big tables usually around here. It's very good business for you.
That it is. It gets even more active once the outsiders come along. Usually takes them a bit into the day, but once they do,
Yes, they're
things
quite
really
excitable,
get
that
very hectic.
I am both thankful and dreading that time for you. That's a lot of currency coming your way. Well, do they buy things around here? Do they trade? How do they pay for things? The cafe.
I'm not certain if it has finished quite yet, but I know that Sienna has been working out a bit of a, figuring out with some of their, people over there to determine a bit of an exchange to know what is and about equivalent to each other. I'm not sure if they are quite finished with that. I would have to inquire. I know some of them have offered some things of interest, but otherwise, some of them just have a bit of a running ledger that once the determination of what the equivalent is, then they will be asked to make it up. And I will be very certain
you better
to
hold them to that. That's a lot of clients.
Oh, don't worry. I have my way of being quite persuasive if I need to be.
Will do. All the bookwork you guys have to keep up with.
Anything to keep the place from not being able to run. It is a very nice home away from home.
Tell me about this place. What makes it so special to you guys?
It's hard to really say. In my case, everywhere that I've really lived, I tend to find myself working in a place like this in some degree. Usually it's more focused on the downstairs of the businesses. This is a bit of a newer twist on it, where there's a different business on top of it, but there's a bit of familiarity there. In my case, ignore that.
Never happened.
Honestly, I cannot say. I go around so many different places in my time that I've never really gotten much chance to get to know the people that I work with to a considerable extent, but this has been a refreshingly different experience. I've grown to be quite comforted by the presences of everyone else at the Crystal Heart. Especially one in particular, but that is neither here nor there.
Ooh, I love the god.
It is nothing like that, I assure you. Just, they are certainly someone that I enjoy spending time with. They brighten my day whenever they are part of it.
I think that if you have someone that you hold close, then you should always hold them as close as you can. Because nothing in this world is guaranteed, even your loved ones the next day.
That is certainly true.
I know I haven't seen my father in a good little while, and I would really love to see him. But he left many a moon ago. But I still have my mother and, the rest of my family. So, it's always silver lining somewhere, but
I know not
if you
with
truly
mine
have found
are.
your happiness and found your places, I really do hope that this place does remain in business for you then. And it thrives, darling.
Well, it is certainly a place for me. I've never actually quite thought of any place as somewhere that I exactly belong. Most of the time I feel like an outsider even in my own home. It's rare for me to feel attached to things, and I'm not quite sure how to handle it.
We've all been there. Maybe you more than others.
To a degree. When you're around for at least a while, but I'm sure not.
When you've seen a few sunrises and sunsets, I understand.
Yes. But
Well, actually, I've actually been approached recently asking to perhaps limit my time in town. But I will always make an effort to come to the
limit
capital.
time in town, why is that?
Apparently having one of my kind around is dangerous to some. If you understand my meaning at the very least.
Oh, trust me, I've heard more than my fair share of, rumors about, all the different ways that people can be put off by people such as you. I do not think they are entirely fair.
Because when you think about it, giant bears, a giant lizard, a lizard boy throwing rocks and sand at people. Yet I exist.
Anybody can be.
And I'm a threat.
Anybody can be dangerous if they have the intent.
Anybody.
It doesn't matter who someone is. What matters is their actions. The actions of the only ones who can define what you are is yourself. So,
I've always held true to that myself.
If you
so
want,
much, milady.
if you want to be in town, who's anyone to tell you no, unless you have done something specifically to harm them beyond the mere fact that you are unapologetically you.
That's how I feel, darling, but sometimes people can have opinions, people can have thoughts, and yes, I'm sure to the rest of the world we might seem a certain way. But in here, I'm here for one goal, and maybe you can help me with that.
And what might that be?
Well, I'm sure maybe as you've recognized that the fading of a certain feeling has been dissipating from this world for a little while.
I do, yes.
My current objective is to try and find as many leads, follow down as many foxholes as I can to get something. I can't go home and defend my home
Hold on.
unless I get that sorted.
Did you eat this morning?
And as far as every lead sent me was here.
Come on.
And you run this
not
lovely
seen you, but
abode,
yes,
and
come
people
on.
come in and out all the time. Surely maybe you know something.
When I'm giving a bit of a listen
Hello,
to...
lizard boy. Goodbye, lizard boy. Lizard boy.
Well, I do give a little
You
bit...
threw a rock at me, I don't want to hear it.
I give a little bit of a listen here and there to things when they pique my interest. I don't believe I've heard much mention in the ways of what I believe you are implying at, but I always do love people being in a position where I feel comfortable to tell stories about whatever it is that they want. All I like to do is make sure that they have the space to do so. So if that is a story that is being looked for, then I'm sure that that could become something of interest. After all, I want to make sure that every customer here is at their utmost comfort.
I know that we are well provided for. There is one place actually quite nearby that I did hold an invested interest in. I'm yet to see anybody actually man the station, I suppose. It's a shop nearby at the very, very end of the hall. I guess got rugs in it, I think. From the window I could tell. I'm not quite sure in there, but there is something of their vested interest. Perhaps if my time in town does not alleviate anything, maybe you can help me figure that out?
I could certainly see.
Besides, I am preparing for the winter.
I
was
always-
kicked out of my abode, you see. Terribly horrible.
I do always like looking into things that are of interest to me. And you seem like a very lovely individual, so I'd love to give you an opportunity to learn a bit more about the place that, from the sounds of it, is being so very rude and shunning you.
I know, terribly tragic. But I never feel that way coming to here, and that's what I like about it.
They've never treated me any different, even if I am very much the most plain person here.
Oh, I'm sure you have some tricks up your sleeve. Every good lady does.
Oh, you are far too kind. But I assure you, unless, having an open ear and an open mind is a trick, then I don't have much that would be worth talking about.
Sure, as you recognize, a lot of people have closed ears and closed minds to a lot of different, vastly vague concepts.
That's something that never changes over the years, my dear. It hasn't changed.
Well,
It hasn't changed in any of the years that I've been walking this land, and I don't think it's going to change anytime soon once I stop.
I doubt that's not going to be for a little while. But thank you so much for your time.
Of course.
I'm going to further investigate that room now, and if they're not here, I suppose I have to continue my preparations for winter.
Well, do let me know if you run into any trouble with any of that. I find myself very free on time sometimes, and I could always use a bit of company to... And if it means helping out
As long
a
as
new
I'm here
friend-
before the rush hour, I'm sure.
Well, if you find yourself departing because that feeling of needing to be away from here gets too strong and you haven't found anything that interests you, do feel free to let me know. I can see if I can look into it.
Will do. Thank you so much.
Of course.
Anyway, I very much enjoyed this. I'm gonna go tell your lovely staff that I very much enjoyed it as well. And I hope you had a lovely day.
The feeling is mutual. I do wish I could keep my... from falling off. It is so hard to keep these from sliding when it gets colder. I just have to make do. I have nothing of import, that is. No special skills of import that are worth noting.
More and more red as it closes.
Keyword, worth noting.
Look, I understand how the Golden Fangs tend to run things.
Oh, Lotea had told me that it is
Tend to be
safe to eat
uptight.
in small quantities, but it may
They
be
tend to
useful
stick
in
to
a
their own
potion.
rules. And they take everything the Empire says is 100%.
Night harvest.
And that has made them the zealots that they are today.
I have had one or two in passing, but
You've seen what happens when they don't take care of their own people.
What, they're just yours, or...?
I'm trying to give you my point of view. It is still Wolfkin, but it's of a different side. It is more accepting,
Actually, can I try one though?
more willing to follow the old teachings.
there you are.
Teachings that some, especially in this time of war, need to understand.
They do smell quite weird, don't they? I never tried one, but Lotea said they are perfectly safe to eat in small quantities, so I would assume so.
Yes, I have eaten.
Look, I won't let you.
And everyone in this town wants to.
Not a
do
great
what you
taste, is
want
it?
You don't like it.
I'm the one oddity.
How is that so? You can do whatever you wish. I've not commanded you of anything. I asked to help when you can.
Just Muso
That's all I require.
Careful, please.
So what do you wish to do?
Think I've been able to help with? How much hunting do you think I've been able to help with?
You say that every time, and then that's exactly what
I
happens.
agree. Hunting has been hard. With the recent outsiders and activity, it's scared most of the animals away. And with coming winter, we are even less. I understand. It's the reason I'm in this predicament that I'm in.
Feed. We took way too many more than we can feed.
Milady.
Yes, but what am I supposed to do? Turn them away to die in the cold?
Okay, we need to
That is
focus on
not.
our own.
That is not the Wolfkin way. You know that. My job is to protect the people of Empire.
Okay, time to go fishing.
That involves feeding them and taking care of
I
us.
mean, I'm a beyond folk, but okay, sure.
Have a great morning, everybody.
I know
Thank
the
you.
elf
You
paper
as
I
well.
have, but here's some extra tip for you guys. Thank you again.
Thank you.
Very good today, by the way. I like the cold cream. It was very tasty.
So I ask, what do you wish to do, Vela?
I don't know this time. Okay, I just try to figure it out little by little. But I'm thinking on what I think is best.
And I hope you find that answer. But even sometimes what I think is best is wrong, and I will admit to that.
Very interesting one.
We don't all
that
have the no
particular
one person has all the
kitsune.
answers.
The only one openly walking proud like I wish our people were able to.
Believe me, I wish I did.
I
Make
can't
things
help
easier.
but want to see what their dream seems to
It'd be
be.
so hard if we all had the others.
Seeing as it would be so nice
But then
to
it wouldn't
have
be
that
life.
freedom myself. Such luxury is not welcome for me. But for those who are not afraid, who own their heritage.
I'm going to go out to the fields later today. I'm going to go down and visit old family. You're welcome to come if you wish. It'll be me and Rena at the time, and I think a few of our visitors wish to follow.
I shall think on it.
Hopefully you'll be around half day, so try and catch me beforehand.
Very well.
I won't hold you here much longer. I've already talked your ear off enough, it seems. Thank you. I see she is busy, but if that's the case, I will reach out to her later about her concerns.
I did let her know that you
This will be
were
late.
going to be looking for her, but I believe she went back upstairs. Is that correct? Oh, speaking of, there they are.
What fortuitous
Alright,
timing,
well.
indeed.
I was
Timing
supposed to
indeed.
mean to your friend, but
You wish to speak?
I know you wish to talk. Well, you had concerns.
Yes, rather.
Well, I'm here. I might as
respected
well
the
get a
wishes
drink
and
while you do that.
sit in the tavern.
What's that?
What kind of drinks do you have here? I forget.
various types of teas.
I respected the.
and
Oh
juices.
god, I died.
Sorry, Vienna.
It's not like you recall your favorite tea.
I respected your wishes and not made the posting on the tavern. So I ended up putting it on my barracks instead. But your hesitation, I wanted to see what your concerns were and see if I can comfort them if possible. Or if any of
I'm
you
just running
staff
a
have
lot.
concerns as well.
I see.
It is a beautiful tea. I'll take it.
I found a really cool flower.
Speak.
Delicious tea.
See, it's got a whole bunch of bristles on it.
That it does.
I
Very
suppose so.
nice.
To Tyler.
It's really fuzzy.
There you are.
It is indeed, Harry.
Never mind, I'm not.
Yes.
I forgot.
You must forgive me.
Go ahead.
For you in particular, you are quite expressive, and so when I tend to pay most attention to where your ears are, and it makes me feel the need to check in on you when they're not perking up towards the sky like they are right now.
Pardon?
How has business been?
So what I'm hearing is you like me.
Such a bold accusation, and very true.
But then how could one resist such charm that she has?
Hope you're able to keep up.
You are leaps and bounds the most energetic personality here. And at only half the height. So that's doubly so.
Indeed.
Will be enough for me. Thank you. I had a large morning.
Still,
Just needed something.
I'm glad
from
that
this
the morning
side, if
is
you know what I
treating me
mean.
well thus far.
Okay, then. Thanks for stepping back.
Of course.
I will be right back. I need to grab something from my house. One moment.
Jack.
I will be
We
here.
have teas and different fruits, drinks.
I'll be back shortly.
Whatever
I
he's
recommend
getting, I've got it.
the jasmine tea. It's good.
Jasmine tea, yeah? Alright, I'll take that recommendation. Hi, Jackson McLean. I was here before. I didn't get a chance to get anything though. If I could I get some jasmine tea?
Sure. Would you like anything, sir?
I'll take a tea as well and something to eat. Anything will do on that front.
What about yourself? Would you like anything brought over to you?
Yes, actually. I would like cold cream and apple.
Maxwell Jackson.
Cold cream and apple.
Jackson McLean.
Very
and
well.
some tea.
I'm a reporter.
Of course.
Yeah, pleasure.
I'm Koshai.
Thank you.
Pleasure.
Koshai, was that?
Koshai.
A bit of
pleasure.
tea and cold cream for the young lady
How are you
over there.
finding,
They didn't specify what kind,
life
so
on this side?
whatever is most convenient at
is,
the
though.
moment.
Well, it's a bit more
Very well.
it's a bit more rugged than I'm used to, but back
jasmine
home I
teas.
definitely thank you very much.
Terribly sorry.
Enjoy.
Well, back where I'm from, I've definitely seen, more rugged environments more than most.
You said you are, what was what? Reporter?
Are you doing okay, Miko?
Yeah, a war reporter, more specifically.
Yes, the morning has been
Back where I'm
treating me
from,
well.
Yeah, there's enough
good.
wars, and the
You
wars are
sit
big
there
enough
drinking
so
cold cream.
there's need of
yes.
people to go around and basically
I'll bring it out
well,
to them.
figure out what's going on and tell folks such. It's kind of how I did my trade. Yeah.
There you are. Thank
Go
you.
into a place full of danger. Yeah, unfortunately.
Very appreciative.
Just waiting out the morning, I suppose.
And what is it that you do?
Your tea and the cold cream.
Thank you.
I see. So a bit of a.
I have a feeling
a
that you might be a
handyman,
bit more
jack of all
familiar
trades.
with it, but do eat it a bit slowly. Otherwise, some people have been
Within the world place.
having a bit of difficulty with the feeling of coldness spreading through their head while they're eating it.
I'm sure you've seen them because it's just comfy.
We have a similar dish
And I don't want to hide them from, you know,
on our
representing
side, and it's actually one of my favorites.
just wearing
I
it
think.
close
At
and
least.
this way before being
Well
just
then,
be hiding the fact that I am.
I'm sure that you are aware of the effects that it can have on people when they do it too quickly. I'll leave you to it.
There's a horn guy
Brain
out with
freeze.
you.
Ah, is that
Yes,
the term for
soldier.
it?
He's just comfy
I'll
in
be
his own
sure to
clothes.
let them know.
Yes.
I suppose.
I see. So,
Are you not
were
comfy in
you,
your clothes?
Oh, that's delicious.
No, I won't ask. I don't want to ask you.
I barely had any to the start, so
Good morning, my friend.
I
Did you come here?
wasn't really able to get my own.
I've
Good
spoken with the
morning.
mayor a bit about how folks.
Can I get you any tea?
So I chose this, and this was comfy enough.
It would be wonderful.
Of course.
The children were a bit of a handful
I
this
see, I
morning,
see.
so I couldn't get outside.
Were you,
It works.
were you
It is
present
weird.
at the,
I think this should
It
give you
took months to readjust.
as well as there's
So
something else to share with you later.
Unfortunately.
I see.
nonetheless,
Well, I'm
been
going around today.
odd actually trying to readjust to this
There's
place. So,
There's a bit of a rumor.
but so
circulating
far,
around the camp that
well,
a certain group was responsible.
rather than normal,
for,
it's been welcoming.
Well, I mean, the group you undoubtedly fought. The military.
I don't know, it's because people have to, because I have the uniform,
Rumors going around
or
that they used
however
a,
it may be.
a
I used to just be an outsider before I was,
so heinous
well,
that it was banned
this.
under the rules and practices of war by the United Nations.
Well, at the very least, when it comes
So, I mean, if you'd
to
have any,
what I
be able to
see of
answer
their
any questions I
practices,
had,
they put a
would,
lot of
helpful.
weight upon the appearance that one takes.
Not right
That
now.
might be part of
Yes.
it.
I've been meaning to speak with some of you.
one thing I appreciate
We
the
haven't
most
shared
out
our
of these people
experiences.
is the passion that they have.
Of course.
Hmm.
Mind
That's
if
the
I,
passion that drives them in any direction they go.
Let's see here.
There are some I may.
Here you are, my friend.
I'll have to take
I guess it's because of the connections that they all have together.
Right, of course.
They're able to connect with each other so quickly
So,
and understand each other so quickly.
you were there at the.
They are so
if you don't
advanced.
mind,
I suppose I
What
will have
was
to
it
take
you,
your word for it. I've not really
did
had
on the
much
front
of a
lines?
conversation with any of them.
By my
thus
other words,
far.
I would have called them gods
I was a foot soldier.
because of how just
specifically part of
different they are.
Well, that is quite a very bold statement to make. Now you have me curious.
Usually,
see.
quite
It
effective as
is.
defensive
It's
formation.
bold,
Not so effective against that.
but after what I've seen,
Flying
it's
metal.
not an understatement.
Yeah.
If you don't mind my asking.
I'm not saying they are,
That's something folks
but
from our
you
work
can
will
assume
know,
them to
pretty
be.
quick. Soon.
Hmm.
Well,
If you don't
some
mind my
people,
asking, how was
some people
then
made the
that
leap
you
forward
managed
technologically, and
to
then soon after, pretty much everyone else followed.
just
Just
be a
some
part of
very
their little group?
bloody, very violent conflicts.
Being who I am, I have to
I
adapt.
guess present at the
They showed themselves to me.
fortification point of the
I had to
Empire
adapt.
and,
That is all.
when it was attacked.
Yes. I was there before.
I barely had any connections, as I said. I was an outsider when I was
I
here.
was part of the main force that was with the Emperor.
So,
Hmm.
I had to adapt wherever
Given-
I
Once
went.
again, however, my official
Given what I know you
name
are,
was,
I am
organization was conscript.
saddened
I'm not sure if this
by
is
that
where you
fact.
come from.
that you had to be like that.
Conscript. So you were made to fight against your will.
Well,
Yes.
Hmm.
reason for the uniform.
I see. Your kind being
see.
The king.
As you may know.
kin. I've heard bits and pieces about this. Would you mind telling me a
Okay.
bit more about it? So, kin, does that include folk kind of specifically like
That is
yourself,
what
or
I'm trying to at least change.
varying
It
different
is-
physical characteristics?
It's a term from many.
That's what my sister said.
So,
There are many here who will be considered kin, but we share very little similarity.
I see, I see. And then it was if the kin were conscripts, who were the empire? Were they dwarves like the
although I must
ambassador?
move. Thank you for the talk.
Bye bye.
Treat, Jack, with kindness. He's trying to help. The man over there.
Do they, It's just been a bit of a strong, well, I guess this hierarchy has been enforced for a long time.
Would most certainly say.
Yes. Well, I suppose, last question I might have for you is, well, it is. When you were, interesting to see there.
Hello, Harry.
Did you,
one of my kind.
Did you witness any, clouds of smoke, clouds of a kind of pale green, yellowish smoke on the battlefield?
It is
Starts to breathe in,
strange.
Incapacitates most who breathe it.
Little individuals.
Perhaps we talk about
fired out of
this thing, not amongst mixed company.
Mixed company.
Yeah, I suppose so.
Hmm?
If you do
But I did.
know anything about it, though, I would be
I knew
very
it.
interested to hear about it in the future.
Well, as I said, maybe later.
His reasons, I'm assuming, are his own.
Questions, this one.
But if he believes he has found a place to belong, then I can only feel but happiness for him.
I understand, yeah. Man comes in, sits in your tavern, and starts asking very difficult questions. I understand. Who's your friend?
How's business going?
Harry is capable of it. Well, I suppose just
Going
in
well.
boost, but they are
We've gotten past the
slowing down
heavier
now.
rush of the morning, but we still do have a few
Harry,
people here and there.
Butter. Jackson McLean. You can just call me Jack.
Did we get that table cleaned? That was popular earlier.
I may not
What is
have
it you
gotten
do around
to
here?
it.
I've seen you
If
running.
you'd like to assist.
I'll take care of it. Yes.
I help here at the cafe.
Oh, I see. Have you been here long?
Hello.
I
Feel free to sit anywhere you
Andrews.
like.
Welcome.
Hello.
I see.
Well, I'll
how
take
you
a
found,
seat.
I guess.
There
found Living
is
to be so
somebody
far?
here who wanted a meeting with me.
The people here are nice. Well,
I believe their
Like our
name
pets, Oscar.
was Sienna?
but they're pretty nice.
Sienna.
Yes.
They,
Sienna's
yeah, how
currently,
so?
upstairs,
Very popular today,
finishing
it
another
seems.
meeting. She should definitely be down.
Oh, that's fine. I'll just take a seat. Is there any chance that you have any coffee? Or coffee similar?
Yes,
We do.
I'll just take a seat. If you could grab me some coffee, I'd very much appreciate it.
Oh, of course. If it's doesn't make you comfortable talking, you feel no need to.
Looking for someone.
Where is Sienna?
Upstairs, meeting with someone else at the moment.
How about the UN forces? Folks
everyone
like
wants to
myself.
talk
Have they
about
been?
Okay, yeah,
have they been
I'm just
around here?
gonna be outside there, and if she needs me where she wants to talk to me, I'm out there. That's
I tried out a bunch of different. It's really, really sweet and soft.
I do not envy her. She is a very popular woman today.
Lots of things to talk to her about.
Funny how
She
they're
is.
Oh my
able to
lord.
make it like that.
I guess that would make sense.
Actually, they've been able to produce so much food. They're able to make it, able to put even sugar in it to make it that much more enjoyable.
Oh.
It's a bit of a problem back home, but
How are you
bits and
doing?
pieces of it coming through. I'm sure they're quite enjoyable.
I am handling myself quite
Yeah,
fine.
sugar. Before?
Welcome.
I'm glad to see that you are up and about.
Albeit a little bit later than I intended. Children are being a little bit of a handful today.
Well,
I would,
sometimes
I would
I've had a hard
definitely
time
imagine so.
finding you
It's,
till almost the
it's a,
sun is no longer
extract
cresting
of,
the sky.
which is like
So
some people
this
get
is
it
a
from-
welcome
Some
difference.
people get it from certain kind of plants.
If you mean,
it's a
last
sweetener,
week,
makes things very sweet. Used
I was unfortunately trying to process my letter.
I remember.
Meetings today, that's all.
But
that's fine.
yes, that was
I have a few.
the particular date in mention.
Right?
As a
Not to say that I wasn't one to break routine myself that day either. I believe I kept poor Lotea there waiting
We can get
unsure
from
about
the
the
dwarven
whereabouts
town.
of where I was.
I get my paint there.
Have you found any more?
Oh, it wasn't that
The
bad,
Dwarven Town,
my
you say?
friend.
Is that
Oh,
we all have a
tendency to do that to one another
well,
sometimes.
well, now I'm just simply hurt. I thought I was going to completely disrupt your day.
You did ever so slightly, my friend. I did miss your company in the morning.
A tiny little bit of revenge for all the routine that you changed for me.
What was it that you said? That I have single-handedly disrupted your entire routine.
I did not say single-handedly. I just said that the majority blame lies with you.
Ah.
But you are, but unfortunately, you are not sole owner of everything having to do with that.
I have 2 more questions. I'm looking for a couple people.
Sorry to disappoint.
First off was.
Oh, it's quite alright.
I thank you for your show.
Welcome back.
Many customers now.
What do you know?
Yes, and you are ever the most popular person in this building, Miss Sienna.
What was that, my dear? I missed what you said.
Dr. Anders.
Oh, she's here.
Yes.
Yes, she's in the corner right there.
I've kept you waiting. I knew that I would have to. Well, I thought I would have more time. She said she would be here until after midday. It's not even barely halfway through the morning.
Also, one of the rabbit
I think it
king
is
was
past
also
morning
looking
at
for
this
you.
point.
Celine?
I believe so.
I think so, yes.
You two have been a big help.
Okay.
I
If
believe-
she's departed, then I'm sure I'll find her at some
She
point.
said she was on the balcony.
She is out on the balcony. You can actually
Oh,
just barely
excellent.
make them out right now.
I'll steal her and then
would you like,
talk to Dr. Anders.
Alright.
I should have scheduled the day much better.
It's weird seeing it from the other side. Usually that's my time, meeting after meeting. It's odd to see it from the other side.
Yes,
Let me
that's
go
it.
and see.
That's what you look like.
Can I ride you?
I hope so. I feel very...
Except for I'm not purple, I don't think.
Can I ride you?
Nope, not yet.
That could probably be arranged if you'd like to know what it's like.
Don't. No, don't, because if anything, I feel like there's a couple of ladies who would gladly dye me pole just to mess with me.
Oh. Captain Varys having people that fancy him?
No.
We'll get it then.
Don't. Don't mind. No, don't mind.
Am I right? I'm right, aren't I?
Have you been doing well?
I'm doing fine.
At some point to discuss what she's been talking about.
I've never been one.
She has been very busy.
That's interesting.
Busy in my work.
Fair enough.
She already talked to me.
That said.
Zella,
I was going to go for a walk.
need me for some?
No, she already has a bunch of people.
No. Good luck today.
You still can. I will just have to let her know that we left for a bit.
I was trying to take a day to myself, and I spent 2 hours looking for people lost in the woods.
So, how did it go?
Sienna has her own plans. I'm willing to let her try, but I also still ask to let me try my way. There are still people who are interested in being an oracle, even from the outsider side, and if her plan is to play out, I'll need someone from the Empire to at least solidify what she's trying to do. Because I do not have the word of power to do it.
Somehow, if you
As much
did,
as
I
I'm
feel
from the
like
Empire.
I feel like if you did, you may not be able to associate with people like me.
Before you go, I'm trying to learn the names of many people.
If you learn anything about the Silvermanes, I tend to not care about position half the time. We are loyal to the Empire, that is true.
Yes, yes, you
But we try to keep the people together.
Well, like I said, the offer is still on the table. what I talked about before.
Yes, and I appreciate that. If you wish to find anyone who is interested in meeting an oracle and they wish to sign up, let them know where the petition's at.
Yeah.
And we'll see.
Very well.
Then again, even if I do follow Sierra's thing, doesn't mean I have to send the petition out yet. I could hold on to it for a bit and see how that plan fares. But time is definitely of the essence with winter around the corner.
That it is. I'm sure whatever you end up deciding to do will be
Excuse
a very,
Excuse us.
Interesting endeavor indeed.
We will see. Half the time I think I'm flying by the seat of my pants. This town keeps me on my toes, which is a good thing, I guess.
From the way it looks, you're almost always on your toes.
You have a good one, Miko.
And you
See
as
you around.
well, Captain. So Sienna has a plan herself too. Maybe one that doesn't require entreating the Empire. That would be certainly preferable compared to that, but if the plan goes through, I would have to play my cards carefully. I don't exactly know what would happen if I were to make the wrong move.
Nice view.
That it is. That is part of the reason why I like this place so much, is that working here gives me the easiest access to all the different views. This one, the one up above, and everywhere in between.
I agree. Major?
Hello, Doc.
Hello.
Forgive me, I'm just trying to schedule an appointment later today.
Are you also...
Are you still here, right?
I am. Are you also here looking for Miss Sienna? She is dreadfully popular today.
Yes, I am. I was, mayhaps after a little excursion, and I'm not too sure if you're
I
aware,
think she's
Doctor...
talking with
Doctor, the...
owner right now.
There's a excursion that the captain is going to be taking on. It's to the battle site in the mass grave.
Ah, so that's what he meant by visiting old friends.
Indeed.
I've already been there.
I've told a few of them that were interested in the reality of the situation. Why we're here. But I want to arrange a meeting. Mayhaps probably happen with that coming back from that. I guess I'll speak to Sienna at the show that. I would just speak to a few of the patrons. Specifically the Rabbitkin.
The Rabbitkin? Any particular reason for that specific group of individuals?
I want to have a understanding of the... I want to have a... just... have a sit with them one by one, about... one-on-one about... the situations and... what is... more or less the case. I want to have to come to an understanding with them. And I was hoping that your place could facilitate that.
I'm sure it could. Seems a lot of people like to come here to have long-form conversations.
Indeed.
Indeed.
I'll go reach out to Sienna.
Yes.
And see if I can secure that.
She is up in the cafe at the moment, speaking to one of yours, I believe.
Ah, she's occupied right now, speaking to an owner of the tavern, I think.
Yes, that would be Miss Sienna.
Felix.
But yeah.
I will say this is a bit of a... Good morning. I will say this is a bit of a difference because in the past I have usually not seen a lot of you from out that way until much later in the day.
Well, for me, it's a day off day. I'm just relaxing.
Ah. That certainly would help in that endeavor, wouldn't it?
Indeed.
I hope what you received
sorry,
was to your liking, by the way.
Yeah, yes, it was delicious. Tea and, well, we call it ice cream. Cold ice. Cold cream ice.
Cold cream.
Well,
but
you know
it
what
seems
I mean.
that there is a lot of overlap between things that we make here and things that you have where you are from.
I guess in things that easy to discover, it's inevitable. I didn't catch your name. Sorry. I forgot it. Too much work.
No, I don't know if I ever actually have properly introduced myself to you. I believe we've seen each other in passing at most. My name is Miko. I am one of the staff here at the Crystal Heart.
Nice to meet you, Miko. My name is Anastasia Yan, or Dr. Yan.
A pleasure to meet you. Well, meet you properly, I should say. But in a way, it's like
You're
a
right.
second meeting. And those are always wonderful. Just as good as the first.
Crystal Heart, you say, right? The name
Yes.
of the place.
That is the name that Miss Sienna gave it. And that is the name that it will have.
Let's see. When they said outside,
Good to know.
did they mean the? They might have meant the upper level.
Oh,
Hey,
Boy, you
Harry.
really just climb on everyone, don't you?
Harry, you found yourself a new
Have you seen the captain of the guard
vantage.
anywhere?
He has stepped out.
He just got
He had finished with
he
all
just
of
got
his
pulled into a
discussions.
meeting with the mayor and one of the
Ah,
outsiders.
I understand. Okay.
Quite a
Thanks
busy
for letting me know.
person.
Yes,
But
both Sienna and
his sister,
Varys are both people that are constantly pulled every which way. It's a wonder that they haven't fallen apart
Yeah.
at this point.
Oh, so, does he get much trouble as the captain of the guard here?
I don't think so, not until recently at least. But that's something I believe everybody here is familiar with.
Right. Yeah. Is there I don't know if I've seen any other. Are there any other town guards?
Not
think that one.
exactly. The
He's the only guard.
He's the only official guard. Anyone else that helps out is not in a guard
We don't have
capacity,
any
but
other
just
official guards.
providing assistance to him where able.
Ah. Deputies, I see. Well, I guess it's reassuring then that he himself is able to keep everything. Does he keep everything under control here? If you see him, tell him tell him a dude with a mustache and a leather jacket's looking for him. Actually, not. Tell him a reporter's looking for him. I just want to ask him a couple questions. I think me and my folks might want to know more about.
Very well.
Definitely.
All right. Oh, well, Harry, I'm probably gonna at least walk back to the camp. You're welcome to, I guess, hitch a ride if you want to, but I'm heading back to my base camp for now. There's someone I gotta meet.
Enjoy your adventure, Harry.
Okay.
Ah, the advantages of being small and light.
Indeed.
So they are a reporter then?
Yes. They make news. From this world, known to our world.
And what has he talked about since he has been here then?
About a lot of stuff. Recently published a paper on the recent news, like past 2 weeks. Mentioned the yes, unfortunate circumstances.
Yes, truly a shame that
which is in
what
my opinion
happens to
a
them.
bit unwise, but
They still don't seem to have any idea of who did it.
Have a good day.
It is a bit worrisome.
yes. We don't know either. Well, at least I don't know. Maybe our good doctor knows.
My ears are burning. What might I know?
Why? There is an ice cream you can. Cold cream. Okay,
If you
ice cream, basically. You'll understand.
Okay.
Yes.
What?
I'm not the one who asked, you are.
Wait, what? Sorry, what in regards to ice cream? I'm confused.
No, I believe it was...
Burning ears.
What? Just a turn of phrase. Just...
I know.
I heard doctor mentioned. Is there something I can help
yes,
with, or...?
we were speaking about unfortunate thing that happened on our first day. And
That.
maybe you know
Yes.
who made it or what was actual the poison, I
I'm
think?
afraid the nature of the investigation is currently ongoing. But I don't have anything further that I can really contribute aside from what we found at the scene.
I see.
I see. Hopefully the
But
trail
we learn
doesn't
anything.
go cold.
We're hoping not. No, that isn't exactly good for our PR that somebody passed away first day we were here, even if we weren't involved.
Oh, I would be surprised if they held blame for people that had nothing to do with it. As I'm sure it was not...
Yeah, and
I would hope that was not the actions of anyone from your side of things.
Of course not, but in our world...
Right.
Sometimes the narrative is changed to suit the needs, rather
Sorry
than
about that.
The truth.
Sometimes.
I suppose even that can be very similar to how things have worked here for so long.
That was sarcasm.
I might be a little tone deaf to sarcasm sometimes. But I need some food, so if you'll excuse me.
Of course, do not let me keep you.
Grab an ice cream, it's delicious.
I'll use it on the ears, stop the burning.
You better.
But that is a bit disheartening to hear in a sense.
And,
I would certainly say that there are some who would be very revisionist in the things that have happened to paint it in a different light than what some would consider to be fair as well.
Fair? That's a good idea. I like it.
Well, I simply say that because that's how it is. The Empire's manner of looking at how their impact on everyone underneath them is debatably not the full accurate truth, depending on who you ask. There are certainly many that have been hurt by them that they would call something completely different.
That is the usual behavior of the winning side, you know?
That it is. That it is.
Yeah. Sorry to intrude. I don't think we've met.
I don't believe we have.
I'm Trev.
My name is Miko. I am one of the staff here at the Crystal Heart.
Oh, I see. Didn't mean to intrude. I'm just looking for, some food and drink, but figured I'd say hi.
Well, your greeting has been noticed. I don't want to keep you if you are looking for something to fill your stomach.
Yes. Well,
I recommend ice cream. Cold I
They
get
have ice
that.
cream.
Cold cream.
They call it differently, but it is.
I'm sure, honestly,
Cold cream.
if you called it that, I'm sure they would probably actually understand what it is, because I think everybody has been having a bit of that confusion in the terminology between our cultures.
Ice cream
the
of the
appropriate
brand
name?
Cold Cream. Think about it like that.
Oh, interesting. But what is the native way to say it?
Cold cream.
Cold cream.
That is
Cold
what
cream?
it is.
Okay.
Yes.
Oh, I thought you were talking about a brand.
No, that is
No,
what
they don't have brand yet.
Hello.
Forgive me. I think I spoke with you last week about selling. What is that supposed to mean?
I was not expecting you to be wearing, that caught me off guard.
Wearing what?
Do you like them?
Yes, the
glasses?
sunglasses, of course. Yes, actually.
Oh,
They're quite nice,
did
actually. I
actually.
do enjoy them.
I see. Anyways, you were saying?
Well, I traded for them, much like I was hoping to do, something of the sort with you today. I was wondering if you did remember speaking to me last week.
Ah, yes, you were asking for that, starter.
The spruce spear. At the tavern? Oh, that would be embarrassing.
Oh no.
Oh no.
What? Am I dying? What? What? How? Miko is a imperial citizen. Just in case you're curious, she is an imperial citizen. Did anyone else just randomly crash out to their homeworld?
That's a negative. No problems on my side.
Ah, there's the guy. Oh, Ari, so you're aware.
Yeah?
In the menu, when you open it up, do not click the T, W, and Y.
Oh yeah, no,
because it will bug you out.
Yeah, no, I know about it. I was in there. I just, for whatever reason, just randomly got kicked back to my home world. Like, I didn't get any crash message or anything. It just was like, bye. So,
that is weird. Okay,
yeah.
That's good to know. Alright, then let me stop you, just making sure.
Yeah. I gotta get back to my scene! Excuse me.
Anything you need to know.
Sorry, Matt.
Call early. Yeah.
Terribly sorry. I guess the morning heat got to me.
No? Okay.
And it's amazing because it's
Sorry.
getting colder, so that must be very worrisome for my health. Anyways, you were saying?
You missed the worst joke that fell so flat, so you didn't miss anything. Sorry.
Oh, well, goodness, then my sudden spell seems to have worked out in my favor.
Yes, and truly, you've only missed
Okay, alright, is the
somewhat
bar in
embarrassing.
here?
Yep, straight in, up the stairs, around the corner.
Up the stairs, alright, cool, alright.
Well,
Do you know
if
what's in
they're
there?
looking for a tavern,
Oh.
if they're looking for a tavern or
Yes.
alcohol,
Tavern and bar mean the same thing.
if they're looking for alcohol,
I
that's
learned
usually
that.
the lower business, and we don't usually do that in the morning unless there's a distinct
well,
need of it.
I
But yes,
do
you were
have
saying.
a bottle of well, I do have a bottle of the spruce beer that I promised to bring last week.
Ah, yes. In exchange for the
Yes.
means to produce it, yes.
Yes, well, you were kind enough to let me borrow some starters, so I felt like it was only prudent that you have a taste, and I brought it in this thermos.
Thermos. Yes.
Thermos. I brought this in this thermos. Thermos.
Thermos.
Yes.
I'm assuming it's one of a thing
Yes.
from you.
Yes. Yeah.
A strange
Yes.
strange metal container
Careful,
for
it does have glass on
liquids.
the inside. Yes, you just unscrew the top, and I suppose the top is even a cup. I do
Yes, actually,
warn you if
usually.
you're not used to it. It's not a small beer, darling.
I'm sure I can handle
clean
myself.
water and everything.
I can't say too much for some of the clientele though that have at least last week we had a couple people that were making absolute fools of themselves.
Oh well, you know how it is.
I'm not surprised.
Kuyuki had to be
Booze and
carried
desires
home.
sets careless fires. Oh.
She was having quite the night, I will tell you that. But
Oh.
I will
Well,
soon.
don't know if I'm the.
I will.
I see.
Yes, well.
I will introduce this to the rest of the staff. Let them give it a try, and if they enjoy it, then I will be sure to let you know, and we can see about making a longer-term arrangement with that.
Oh,
Just so that I
perfect.
know
Well,
how to,
it's sweetened.
what to let them know what to
Yes.
expect. What sort of flavor profile were you going for with this?
Oh yes, I was just about to get to that.
Ah,
well,
perfect. We
you
have the
see,
same mind.
Yeah. Yes, of course. Well, it's flavored with sugar, citrus fruit. So I managed to borrow some, or rather was given some. So it's a heady mixture of a sweetened citrus concoction. It does have the herbal notes of the spruce, of course, as the main ingredient. But it's not too forward. And in fact, somebody on base told me it tastes like 7-Up, except kicks you.
I
Not
have
sure what that
no
means.
idea what that means, but hopefully that's a good thing.
They seem to be quite taken with it, so I figure if it's good enough for them, then...
I see. Well, I will.
Yes.
I appreciate you providing this, and I will be sure to let you
of
know what
course.
the others think of it.
Okay, perfect. Well, now, about the thermos, I will need that at some juncture.
Well, I will try to make sure that either we find a place that we can transfer the contents to, or just make sure that we clear it out so that it can be
Perfect.
returned. And also the
I appreciate that.
sunglasses are very
Oh,
interesting.
aviators, actually.
Aviators.
Oh, thank you. Yes, I've had it explained to me that sunglasses are actually a false lineage, a bastard line of forgeries, apparently. These are the real deal.
Oh my. You are wearing nobility upon your face.
Well, you know, it does sit rather nicely on my face. Oh, the sunlight, oh. Back down.
Very interesting indeed. Well, I will bring this up to them so that they...
Thank you.
to try to make it so that I can get you back your... your thermos as quickly as I am able.
Oh, sure. Do you want me to come back in a while, or...?
Whenever. You're always welcome here, dear.
Oh, well, too kind. Well, then, if that's the case, I have a bear to meet in the forest, so I will be back in a bit.
Very well.
Good luck. Miss Miko.
Yes?
Goodbye.
I would like to talk to you after your work shift.
Well, it is a bit flexible in nature, but I would be more than glad to talk. At the very least, I'd like to get this up there so that I am not holding on to their possessions for too long. Or perhaps it is your possession, I'm not certain whose. It is not mine.
No. Yes, that is for certain.
But
I will
yes.
wait here, I suppose?
Yes, I will try not to be very long. Or I can at least give it to them, let them know to give everyone a chance to try it, and well, let's go from there. I'll be right back.
Yeah,
The projector's here
not
too.
normally, but
Hey,
you know,
hon,
if someone
yeah.
decides to
So,
put it in
like,
for
what'd you
it.
say your name was?
My name is Vina.
I mean, things that I get handed aren't exactly, you know,
Vina, hi,
things that I'm
nice
not
to meet
supposed
you.
to have.
Yeah, so, yeah, like,
Fair, I'm gonna probably get more of those.
like, we don't,
Maybe I'll
they
just trade
didn't,
them
like,
for
give us
people.
any, like, currency when we're, like, trying to come through or anything.
I just want to see if there's any
covered that.
interesting.
Oh dear.
Owner has the deal with the
It just kind of swooshes through my. It doesn't really
I'm
take
being
me.
polite about it.
I'm not sure if there are any events going on. The mayor might know better.
Perhaps we should move away from it then. Perhaps.
Look, there we go.
Thank you, Officer Barbrady. Look at him go.
Also,
You know, I talked to your friend Flower.
Slime there is.
Have you never seen
The one in the nice fancy. The elven man with the nice
That's the
suit.
one that
The nice
the one
hat.
I've been seeing all the newspapers.
Okay, alright.
What was that character's name? Shit! Fuck!
I'll let you go for now. That's what that one's trying to do.
Thank you. Here, Alice.
Which one of them was it?
A journalist.
Wait. Oh no, I'm pretty sure it's...
So.
Yeah, so, like, what do you have on the...
Oh, they don't have to name it the... Fuck!
Right now.
Ugh.
very influential though.
No, they seem to make a statement at least.
Hold on, I know I can check.
I'm actually,
I know I can check.
That's a good
How was
question.
how was it described to me?
and I am free to be heard.
It's just that a lot of
like, somebody
people
said, like, the cold
Which
watch
one
the
sticks
apples.
out to me?
Because of that, they're like a speaker, so they get a lot of influence
Sticks
that way.
out to me.
They're politicians.
Would you like your coffee regular?
They're sort of like you do, but they got a way bigger audience.
Or what style?
Slime folk style.
Because they're fighting for so many different people to watch.
Is there a euphemism or something?
Means that they're
I have a quick question because I'm blanking out. What is every... What is their character name?
Who?
One second, I'm like... The brewer? I'm looking real quick.
Is it Skull?
No, not Skull. Effie Doodle's name.
Sahana.
Sahana, thank you. Oh, God. I was like, I was asked to tell him something like, wait, I don't know their name. Shit. Thank you.
No worries.
She's very fascinating.
Alright.
Individual.
I feel like they have like everything to make a latte here, but they haven't like made like the corner.
I've already forgot it again!
Like, you know,
shit! I remember the first letter. I remember the first letter. Sashara. That was it. Sashara, yes! Okay. Sahana.
That's totally fine.
Thank you.
Joke in, a reporter being reported upon.
Awesome, thank you.
Kind of funny, actually. Come think of it. It might go boom.
Off to...
Maybe I shouldn't then.
Did she only go running off?
Just generally interacting with it in any way can lead
Come
to
around here and have everyone hear about things. You can do the same.
Like what?
You can figure out how.
What kind of dangerous stuff are right now?
Their world. It's very fascinating. Not far either.
Things that might
I was trying to.
Are you going to be here for a little while?
That they have that.
Usually the only thing I would have like a problem writing
Well,
about.
could I borrow you for a moment? There's something that was given that I want to have the staff try, made by Sahana. I provided a bit of material to Sahana last week to help them be able to make something, and they said that they would give us a bit of it. I have this... They called it a thermos that they put it in, but it is what they created. They were wanting to potentially see about if the staff here liked it, to perhaps be able to try to sell it through the Crystal Heart, and I want to make sure that everyone had a chance to try it, see what they thought of it.
What is it?
Well...
Oh no!
I believe. Yes, it's like they said screw off the top, and what comes off can be used as a cup apparently. But here you are. They said it was a brew of sorts. It is flavored with sugar, citrus fruits, and I believe the spruce bark, but is not a very forward flavor. According to some of the outsiders that have tried it, they described it as... I don't know what these words mean, but they described it as 7-Up that kicks you.
7-Up.
But apparently that's a good thing, so give it a try.
Is it?
Well,
why do they want to be kicked?
Well, I believe what they meant is that it is a bit of a stronger brew, so it will be hit with the people that like to come in here and make themselves
It's something. What is this again?
It is a creation by Sahana. I wanted to try to make sure that everybody here, but especially Sienna, got a chance to try it, to get their thoughts on it, because they do want to get this thing back before too long. But if you're going to be here, yes, this thermos, I guess it's something that they borrowed, or I don't know, but it's very interesting. They did say to be careful of handling it. Apparently there is glass on the inside of it, around this metal.
Would be interesting.
But,
I just screw it back on?
Yes. But if you're going to be here for a bit, if you could, offer some of it to the, other staff members, And if you forget, just if I'm around, I can let you know. But I'm sure you can get a reminder of what it was like. But it's very unique. I do like it. The only reason why I'm not staying around myself, there's someone that asked to speak with me, and I didn't want to hold him up too long. So can I leave this with you for a bit?
No, I understand.
Or at the very least, have it stay behind the inside the kitchen.
Oh wow!
But
What did they call it again?
I think it was something. I believe they didn't give it a specific name, but it was like spruce bark.
Yeah, sure.
Spruce bark beer of some sort.
Yeah, that seems
Or
good.
and whatever the outsiders called it, whatever the 7-Up
7
means.
Up with a kick.
Yes.
Okay.
Perhaps one of them will explain what that means in due time, but yes, Rashida is here, Vena's here, let them both try it as well, and especially if you see Sienna, but if not, at the very least, transfer what's left of the liquid into a different container so that I can give that back to Miss Sahana.
If the door is open, that means it's open.
Okay, alright.
Yes, most appreciated.
I'm gonna have to go and have a look to see whether or not. I mean, who's running the
Yes,
place?
That was quite an event, wasn't it? Mr. Bot,
Capo tried to delay for a little bit with this going out because we're going to do a re-upload of the map. Sizzle's currently re-uploading it, so it'll be about 5-10 minutes. And then we switch everyone over to the other map. We've stripped out the whisper stuff.
Okay, so that's what's happening. Yeah, I'm about to say, I was having some killing faves. I had to stop streaming on it. I think this is on my computer, but interesting enough.
Stay there, and if they are, I'll come get you.
Oh, there's
Yeah,
no need for you to
I'll
go
let
out
you
to
know
the
as soon
other-
as it's ready.
I
I'm just gonna
appreciate
tell them
the
it's so they're aware.
Oh, it's simply just something to do on my way. I have business that way. Well,
Oh, well, fair enough. If it is of no inconvenience.
no. In fact, I was heading that way. You're here to look for the Lamia, then. Oh, hello.
I just wanted to stop by. I've left it up with Zila for a bit to let some of the other staff try it. Although you are more than free to go up there and let them know a bit more detail about what all went into it. But so far, they have certainly found it a very unique flavor, so it sounds promising.
Oh. Well, good. Good. Unique, marketable.
Yes.
Well, thank you.
Did either of you see a, what was her name? There was someone who was sitting there waiting for me, Dr. Anastasia Yan?
Oh, yes.
She just walked past. I saw her going this way. Perhaps I missed. I'm not sure.
To be fair, I saw her this way.
If they're in the vicinity, then I will. I should be able to catch up
I
to
thought
them.
I saw her that way with Dr. Koval. Isn't it Blue Beret?
Yes, I see them. There they are. Thank you. Terribly sorry for how long that took. It was very hectic up there. I hope I'm not interrupting anything.
No, you're quite alright. I was just leaving.
But yes, I am. I should be free for the next little while if you are looking to speak to somebody about something.
Yes. Good luck, Doctor.
Make sure nobody dies.
Yeah. That would be great. Yes, I wanted to talk to you.
Of course.
About, like, maybe general stuff, maybe not so general. Do you have any place what you can think of that can be private?
I have.
Just in the middle of the trees.
I have my own abode here.
Oh.
Yes. I do have. I do.
Hey.
Of course, of course.
Nothing else, and then I will go speak to the
Come on in.
Close to work.
That it is. A very lovely place, and the view from the upper floor where I sleep is simply lovely. You get to see a very large amount of the town.
That is a very lovely place, actually.
Hmm.
Oh, so many. Oh. You're
So-
quite rich.
Hmm?
So many chests.
Well, not all of them are something I brought here. This was a place that I had found, and there's, well, I mean, for instance, the floor directly above us has a bunch of, I guess, old training equipment that was left behind by the ones who used to live here, but they have long since departed. I have never really taken much to rearrange it because it does not bother me. It is just simply part of the charm. But so you wish to speak on things both general and not. I hope you are going to clarify about that a little bit.
Yes, general think, I mean, well, you strike me as a smart woman, so...
Whatever gives you that impression, dear.
Oh, experience. And I would like to know from, I don't know, your point of view, what happened, maybe? But actually, before that, I would like to know general knowledge about, you know, this world, because it's all new for me. Well, relatively.
Well, I have been around for a while, plain as I am, but compared to a lot of the people that you see around here, I suppose
you can call yourself all you want, but not plain.
I'll take that as a compliment, dear. That said, there are a number of things I could speak on. I suppose the question is, what exactly is something of interest to you? This is a very storied place.
Yeah, I understand. I need to be more precise. I don't know. What do you think about people in general in this city?
In this town in particular? Well...
Yes.
I admit that my personal knowledge of the people here may not exactly extend as far as you're hoping. I am probably one of the more recent travelers to this place. Perhaps maybe only about a month or so prior to the first time any of your people had made a visit here to Valis. But
I see.
In that time, I have met quite a few interesting... Well, this place is a very interesting crossroads of many peoples that, well, if you were places that were closer and within arm's reach of the Empire and their ways, would be not quite so diverse. For instance,
Ah,
if we were not on the edge of the Empire, or almost just barely outside of its reach, we would not see people such as Kitsune openly showing who they are, walking around. We would not have... the rabbit folk would not feel as comfortable being around, and the list goes on. This place is probably the most open expression I've seen of many people that are not always looked upon so favorably by those who proclaim to speak for us all.
I see. Well, I think that also our proximity plays a big role in that freedom.
Well, to some degree. I do not know the exact nature of who decided it or what, but there seems to be some form of imperial censure because of... nobody can really know. I have not really gotten the exact details, but that is why Captain Varus is trying to entreat for help from some of the most important people in the Empire, short of the... well, short of the Emperor themselves, if they were still alive.
I get it that he's a noble of House Silvermane?
He is... per his own words, he is a soldier of the Empire, nothing more. He does not consider himself to be one who has a voice that can be... that will inherently sway them one way or the other, which is why he's trying to gather more voices to find a solution to this, because, well, regardless of one's opinions of the Empire, censure is certainly nothing to brush aside.
Yes, I can imagine. Alright. Actually, I've got a better idea. To make it more interesting for you, and not be like interrogation, you know, or like asking constant questions.
Well, you are
we
the
can make it more interesting.
I am always one of interesting stories. That is why I like to work the places that I do. However, I am not against having a long phone conversation with any of you, regardless of the form it takes. You are the first one that has really given me much of their time. You are all always so very busy.
Well, that and people usually, from our side, don't see very clearly.
Well, from what I could gather, at least a little bit of the nature of what has been of most interest, I am very similar to a lot of you in a number of ways, and I suppose that presently they are intrigued in those that have a number of differences that do not exist on the other side of the divide. It does not bother me either way. But you all are very...
overlap in our legends and culture, even, I think, not anymore. At least, we have only human.
A lot of things have changed since everything began. The oracle's so certain defined fate that they always like to talk about seems to have been thrown into complete disarray when these worlds met.
Oh yes.
And I would probably say I would say it's for the better. Because for all their talk of needing to have order and understand the future and ensure that it is exactly how they see it, it makes for a very dull existence. It has not changed at
Also,
all in
funny
any of
thing
the
about the
years that I've
future.
lived. And I've been around for a while.
A while, like 50 years, or a while like 500.
That is a question, isn't it? Just a while. I've never been one to really.
I will not try in that.
I've never been one to really pay much heed to how much time has been around, so much as I am making good use of my time that I am here. Perhaps that is one
Alright,
thing that
that
makes
just
me a
bumped
bit
up.
different from, I suppose I put less weight upon it than, humans from your side. That might be a cultural difference.
Oh, definitely. So obsessed with our ages. I guess there is no helping it. At least not right now. I propose a game. You know?
A game?
I will ask you a question, and then you can ask me a question. That would be an interesting, more, you know, fair conversation.
More back and forth. Very well. You've certainly piqued my interest. So I suppose since you've asked me questions, that it is my turn to ask one of you.
Yes, indeed. Pretty simple game.
Well, I suppose I will start simple. I take it there are a lot more people from your world, and it is far more numerous. So, out of all of them, what brings you to here?
Me specifically?
Yes. There are many. I'm sure there are many more on the other side of things, from what bits of conversation that I've gleaned from those in passing. So I take it that everybody here has a purpose, something that makes them a representative of your culture.
Indeed. I'm here from medical side of our world. Trying to understand how and find new ways to make medicine and cure people.
So, and there are a number of terms that sometimes get used here, but one that I think seems to make the most sense to those from other cultures is healer. We've had many people, we would say doctor, but a number of the visitors have, when asking for medical knowledge, they'd say that they are, and I quote, not that kind of doctor.
Yeah, it's a bit confusing.
It seems that the term is not quite so specific over there. But you are seeking to learn how to make medicines in a way that differs from the practices where you are from. If I have...
You're correct. So, obviously also I wanted to see the new world. Who wouldn't?
Admittedly, I am very much curious about what the world looks like from the other side of the divide myself, to see what... Well, the things that I've been told exist over there are very... Well, it's very hard to imagine, as it's nothing like I've ever ran into before. I see examples of them. Buildings built with metals instead of wood or stone. Apparently, something widely accessible to all. They describe... I feel like they may have been using a different word to try to make it more comparable to ours, but something akin to the Oracle's magic. A vast, widely accessible amount of knowledge.
Internet.
Yes, that was the word they were looking for, but something that was accessible to all instead of a select few, like how the Empire does it.
Everything has its levels, let's say.
Regardless, the manner of which people seem to be treated, or the things that are at least accessible to them, seems very different than here.
Indeed. I suppose if technology advances in your world the same as ours, you will invent it someday.
Who's to say? After all, from what others have seemed to describe, or at least the way that they reacted, that what we call magic is not something that exists on your side. So perhaps those paths forwards are not inherently one and the same. Or that they lead in very different directions.
Oh, that's for sure. Magic. Does it really? Oh, that would be my question. Does it exist? And what do you mean by calling something magic?
It is... How the best way for me to put it? It is as natural as the feeling of heat from that candle right there. The sound of the wind.
A fundamental law.
Something of that nature. But it takes many forms, or at least, if it were allowed to flourish the way that it could have been so many different ways, but in the eyes of the Empire, there was only one kind of magic that truly was worth anything, and that the rest were discouraged to the point of, in some cases, punishment if anyone were to be caught trying to proliferate their use. That being the one that they cared about most, at least while it was around. It has weakened as of the more recent years, but that is what anything that was not oracle magic was deemed unimportant. Because to them, why need anything else when you had magic that could give you near perfect insight of what is yet to come? If you could just reach out, grab an invisible book, and be able to open it to whatever page you wanted, and be able to look at exactly what you want to see, and know how it was to go.
I see.
However, it is not the only magic that exists. Just the rest of them are a lot more subtle. Oracle magic being one of the greater magics, but there are many others that exist, but they have a much lesser grasp on the workings of the world. There are some that use it for very simple things. Some can give is almost more like giving the world a bit of a suggestion to assist them with something. A light breeze. There are some that can use it to help their plants be more lively, grow a bit quicker. Although there are even some that can fool the eyes of those that are looking at them to see something different than what is in reality. That is
eyes
something
is very untrustworthy.
That being something most practiced by a particular group, and in that sense that might be potentially a bit why the Empire is so wary of them. I personally don't see it either way.
I see. Thank you for your answer.
Well, there is no reason for me not to be thorough in it if it is something that does not exist where you are from.
Your question.
Yes. What to ask? There are so many things I could. How much do you know of the events that took place on your world when the divide appeared? What happened over
You mean the
there?
invasion?
Something like that. Around the time when things like the Battle of the Blood Moon occurred over here. What was happening
I don't know
over there?
But I know that the portal door, gate, whatever, divide when it opened, people from this world attacked our world. If I remember correctly, it was actually a university where it opened, where people study.
I can imagine that those who
and
were
not
here.
military personnel.
Well, for those that were here, I cannot speak for them as I was not. This was not somewhere that I'd been. I had only heard the news after the battle that effectively changed everything. But I imagine that a doorway that if you were to step through it took you into a world completely different from your own, that it would be both a matter of wonder and one that could be almost considered terrifying. And many people act irrationally when they are fueled by emotion like that.
Almost all people act irrationally, going with the strong emotions. At least in my experience. And yes, they attacked, battle happened, of course they were decimated after that, and well, then Brazil, but more precisely the cartels, got there, and well, happened Battle of the Blood Moon.
And that was
And
when
now we're trying to
everything
figure out-
changed.
Yes, what they did.
The way I see it, the way that everything changed was the infallible empire that's thought that they could predict and always know every single thing that would ever happen, for once was caught off guard, was unable to control things the way that they always wanted to, and was for the first time humbled. Something that I believe was long overdue.
Yeah. From what I heard about Empire, it's not a very pleasant place to be if you are not human, elf, or dwarf.
That is very much true. And even for some of them, it can still be the case.
Yes.
Still.
But most important thing that this divide changed our world pretty heavily in more ways than one. Although our people will not admit it.
Would you say that this well, I suppose this is a bit jumping ahead, but would you say this change was for the better? Or the worse?
For who?
For you.
For me? For the better.
Still, I did a bit jump ahead in turn, so if you're wanting to ask a harder question now, I suppose I deserve that for skipping turns.
Okay, harder question. I don't know. Let's ask about this. How many factions right now in Valles? If you know any.
Well, I cannot profess to know for certain who's present with who, but there are people that both favor the Empire here and those that certainly do not. I do not exactly know for certain, but it would not surprise me if there were individuals that are more aligned with the beliefs of the Purists that were living amongst us. But for the most part, it can be most easily divided down into whether or not you believe the Empire's existence is
Hello everyone,
good.
I'm sorry to interrupt your roleplay. We have a new version of the map up. If you could kindly go to your group instances and join the dev map version. And swap over. We have stripped out the whisper system and broadcast system because it was causing a lot of problems. And we will help you get it back into position wherever you were just now. So we'll see you all in the new map. If anyone is having trouble, you can request off Silent or Sizzle. They're both on the map.
Alright, well, we will continue this when we get back.
We'll continue after. Yeah.
This is an interesting game.
If you want to swap over to the dev version of the map, if you didn't hear my broadcast.
Oh no, we did. And then we heard everyone else afterwards.
Perfect timing to freeze, because I froze.
Hey, Lamau. Well, I'll see you guys in the new instance. This is a very interesting conversation because, like, Miko's having to be very careful what she says. Because, you know, if she says too much, she might give away a bit more of who she is. That would be such a waste of a question. It's like, what the fuck is 7-Up? What even is oatmeal?
Yeah, you're free to get back whenever you find your scene partners.
That's great.
I'm gonna wait for my informed by your Wolfkin friends.
Yeah, I'm gonna wait for
I've been trying to find you.
I'm having a conversation.
I figured as much.
And it's interesting. Well, I will keep it in the back of my mind that you're looking for me. But yeah, I don't know how much longer it'll be because we are having some interesting things.
If you want to or not. I don't want to hold
Gotcha,
you any
I
longer
just
than
wanna
I already
actually
have.
wait up.
Okay, there you are. Okay, come with me. Alright, come this way, my dear. Alright, and since we're basically isolated in here, we can just pretty much get right back to it if you're once you're ready. Alright, then yep.
Ready?
Alright, cards back up. 3, 2, 1. Right. But it comes down to ultimately the question is simply the two biggest groups can be summarized by what their answer to the question would be if one were to ask if you believe that free will exists or not. Is everything preordained? Or are we able to walk our own paths? Because those who...
That's a really good question.
Those who follow and adhere to the word of the oracles of the Empire will give you one answer. Those that look at things from a different light, the purists, and others beyond, even within the dwarves and their catons. But it all comes down to that same question.
Do we have good free will? Yes. I don't know really.
To me, I feel like the answer is rather simple, but in a way, that is what makes me different from those who support the Empire's actions and believe that the oracles are just.
So I gather you're against the Empire.
I do not like what they have. I may be a citizen of it, but I do not like what they have done to my people. Their people are not my people, and they have done many things that I consider to be atrocious in the many years that this empire has existed. But being the ones that had the ability to predict and tell everything about the future, the very thing is, if an oracle told you what something was, nobody would have any way to refute whether or not it was actually the truth, because they look at it as they have the ability to see the future for what it is. No one would disbelieve a single thing that they say. And yet, they have not always told the truth when it suits them. They may think that it's a truth, but it is a truth that is only convenient to them versus a truth that actually is.
That is common in our world too. Not through oracles, but through government.
Unfortunate
And
that it
people in
is.
power.
At the very least, if magic does not exist in your world, then there's no way for people to have claim to some infallible vision of what fate has in store for somebody. Because there are some that live hand to mouth of everything that the oracles say, to the point that they would not know how to go about their very day if they didn't know how it was preordained to be.
I see.
And yet,
Overly dependent on
preordained.
supposed vision of the future.
Yes. And even with that, magic becoming more difficult, less potent, there are so many that have grown so reliant on it, because that is what the Empire made people to be. Reliant on their supposed protection, their order, everything.
I get it, why you don't like Empire. I don't like that type of government too.
Which then leads me to, I guess, my next question. Based off of what I have seen in the news postings that have been put into town this morning, your UN, what kind of empire are they? What do they believe in?
That's a loaded question. UN is not an empire. It's... well... it's a combination of different kingdoms. Well, you can... you can call that an empire, but de facto it's not. It's an alliance, more like. Huge alliance of more than 100 kingdoms together, trying to... well, the idea is to make world a better place for everyone. Safer, get some laws and action that will protect people from horrible and horrific stuff. And trust me, we had enough of those.
In, I guess, a bit of relation to the question for context, do you know what I am referring to as far as the story that had been shared this morning?
Yes, I've seen it, I've read it.
Yes, about the actions that this UN seeks to make this town effectively a part of it, annexed.
UN is very like a spider web, if you can imagine that.
I
it's
can.
A lot of different voices. And some of them are more powerful than others. Some of them have more money, currency. Some of them have more influence, or just pure reputation. And the sad truth that I suppose no one told you about our world, that is, most of the voices are actually only working into their own good. And annexing a new territory, that was just a matter of time. They needed a reason. And now they have one. Someone killed a politician from Empire. And they're like, oh, we can't allow that. But that's only a reason. To do something like annexation of your town. And then more territory, more and more. Yeah. It would be better than Empire. In some ways.
How can you be
so
certain
much
of that?
In others.
When you say that there are many that are acting in their own interests, how can you be sure of that?
Because our world, it's more subtle. Way more subtle. On our side. As I said, it would be better and worse at the same time.
I see.
I don't wish for that to happen to your town. And any town, actually, in that one. I would rather prefer that they will be autonomous. But truth be told, you probably can't do much.
Believe me, I've already known that for a long time. I act, and it does not seem to change things very often, and yet I do anyways. It's simply the only way I know how to live.
Well, truth be told, that there is actually ways to influence the decision, because our world are very populated. If you know what a billion is, a number with a huge number. Well, there is 9 of those.
I believe our counting systems are relatively similar, which...
Yes.
That is a considerable
9 zeros.
amount.
1 with 9 zeros.
That is a considerable amount of people, yes.
Yes, and 9 billions is how many people we have. It's a lot. And overpopulating bit by bit, year by year, but that's another problem. Which is why actually a lot of people look here, because, well, the problem with overpopulation can be solved by migrating here. But
It would
yes,
come with
there
its
is,
own
the
host of
point is
problems. I'm sure it would not be that simple.
More than you can, more than you bargained for. But on the other hand, you can influence the UN and governments in general, most of them at least, by getting hold of public opinion. If the public does not happy, there is a lot more public than government, you know?
So they actually listen to the voice of their people instead of...
Well, they need to. They have no choice.
Well, that is very much the difference then from how things are here. As if they were to go with the full opinions that everybody that is under them were to have, then perhaps the Empire would not be so oppressive to those that it does not favor. Alas.
Perhaps.
That has been a fundamental truth for a long time. Much history has been made, and very little of it kind.
The same. We have a lot of, well, To be honest, our world is built on blood, mostly.
For some of this world, that same thing can be said. Some far more than others.
I can help you if you want. In the future. If you decide to do something about annexation or stuff like that. At least I can try to help you.
I will keep that in
this conversation and your company.
I will keep that in mind. You are a very interesting one yourself. However, I do believe that it is your turn to ask something of me, if there is anything else that you want to ask.
Yes, I want to, and that would be a bit more personal. What do you do? And not here, but I mean, what you did before, because as you said, you've been observing this wonderful world for a while.
Well, as it so happens, I guess I'm a bit of a creature of habit. For pretty much everywhere that I go, I find myself falling into a similar role. While I am there for a brief time, I do not usually stay one place for very long. This one, Valis, is actually one of the places I've stayed at the longest since I have ever left home. But I am one that likes to... In my travels, I find myself falling into the same role. The jobs I usually pick up is something akin to my work with the Crystal Heart. Usually something akin more to its tavern services and the cafe. But it is because it allows you to meet people, to hear their stories, to allow them to speak their stories without fear of reprisal. People go to places like that to escape sometimes from whatever it is that is bothering them. And you can hear much about the ways that people are sometimes subjected to the wrongs of the world. And if it were within my power, I would try to right those wrongs if I were ever given that opportunity to. But I am just but one person. I cannot change the world, no matter how much I've tried, and believe me, I certainly have.
Maybe you didn't find the right key yet.
Well, I can certainly say that the most recent action that I had taken to try to bring about the kind of world that I hope to see one day around me, it was certainly one that I both expected an outcome of, and yet it has been unexpected all the same. And I am still trying to decide if it has made it better or worse. But that is a bit of a way why I am not an oracle. I do not know what the future lies in store. I just know that for everything that I do, every action that I take in my life, I do not feel guilt or remorse for it is simply me trying to live the life that I hope that others are able to live, even if I may not be able to be around to see it, or even if I do not feel that I deserve the fruits of what I do. I just want others to have the opportunity to have something that they can hold and cherish.
Hurry, can I get you in story 2?
I see.
Let me know when you're free.
Bearing.
I will try my
Noble
best.
goal,
I have
if I
a
might say so.
very interesting conversation going on right now with Dr. Anastasia.
Okay, your little things you're leaving around, did you leave one near the Frog Shrine?
Miss Miko?
In town.
Yes.
Got it. What's in it? Burgling supplies or murder supplies?
I'm sorry, did you say that again? I had a bit of a distraction.
Your question next.
Give me a moment to think about it. It's a very interesting opportunity, I suppose.
Sorry about this. I'm watching
I would say this one, so what were the I think this one would probably be less about the stabby supplies, and it'd be things to help with the more subterfuge things.
Burgling tools type of things?
Yeah, like the lockpicks
Lockpicks.
and whatnot.
You got it. Thank you, ma'am.
Alright, let's see. Well, if we are going to, I guess, go a bit in a personal direction, then I suppose my question would then be, from what you have seen of our world so far, along with the goal that you profess to have, what do you think of this place compared to where you are from? Comparatively, when you've spoken about the possibility that one day people from there may seek to live here, where do you see yourself?
I think that this world is wonderful in its own right. And don't get me wrong, our world is wonderful too. Well, at least can be. But this one is simpler. More relaxed.
Careful now. Sometimes that feeling can be... For fuck's sake! Could you stop doing that? Do you need anything else from me, since I have a brief moment? Because the map kicked me out again for some reason.
I know, I'm so sorry, ma'am. I saw it. No. My apologies.
But... yeah, whatever you, put in there, just let me know, because, the stabby supplies are in her house, and probably a bit of it, are, in, the one that's out by, like, hidden nearby the,
Understood.
Kitsune shrine in that one
I will
place.
let you know if anything happens.
Okay, is someone digging around there?
So it's the one inside of the city, inside of
Yes.
Valles.
Yeah.
Okay, yes.
Mhm.
So there is someone who's investigating it, but she hasn't had a chance to get data back yet, because she's in the middle of a scene.
Yeah. All right. Well, let's just. I'm terribly sorry. I don't know why that keeps happening. Specifically when I'm around you.
Happens. I'm just that stunning.
Well, you are. Certainly an interesting person. Especially those markings along your arm.
Okay. Oh, there's a tattoo. Do you have one? I mean, here.
I believe there are some that like to do that, but I am not one of them, I am afraid. Although, if they are anything like ours, they often usually have some kind of story attached to them, depending on the person.
Oh yes. This has a story. For example, this figure. This figure. You see?
Yes, I see it.
It's we have a place called Egypt. And this is an Egyptian god of death. Just remind of my own mortality.
I see. A very interesting outlook.
But yes, what I'm thinking about this world compared to ours. This world is simpler, at least for now.
What I was originally saying was
easy.
One has to be a bit careful with that sort of feeling because things are simple here because of where it is. If this was somewhere closer to the Empire, things would be very much different. The kind of people that you could encounter. This world is not free of its own strife. There's war being waged as we speak, for that matter. Between...
Oh, and who's decides?
Again, it goes back to that question that I had asked before. If one believes that free will exists or not. The purists versus those who are still loyal to the Empire while it scrambles to find itself a new emperor, even though there is not a single one that is currently... Normally, it has always been one of those things that, again, if there ever needed to be a change in emperors, preordained, it was destined. And so it would always come from, of course, the same group that makes these predictions. But right now, there are two that are trying to seek that kind of position. And one of them would bring about a very interesting change to this world. Because it would be the first time that there was an emperor not backed by the oracles. Not put into place by the oracles. And that they might, for once, think for themselves instead of thinking by what hasn't even happened yet.
Yeah. But to be honest, I like this world more, at least.
At least this pace. I can understand that. But that does answer my question satisfactorily.
Okay. Oh, I'm next then.
As long as you are willing to continue, we have been at this for quite a while.
Yes, that's really correct. Well, I really enjoy our conversations, so I can go for a while.
It does not bother me either way. I just know that it seems that a lot of people are the type to be very mindful of time, and then they, at least some people in town, can never get enough of it. And then there are some that are, well, have all the time in the world.
Indeed. My question then, what are your hobbies?
Well, now that is surprisingly the most difficult question that you have asked me, if you can believe that. I have never actually given myself much that I go out of my way to do. There are things that interest me, yes, but as far as pursuits go, I am not an artist. I am not a writer. I am not one who dreams big. Life passes by.
Changing the world is a pretty big dream.
That is not a hobby, it is a purpose. It's the only thing that I feel is the right thing to do with what I have seen. I am finding myself to be gaining something that I suppose to be akin to hobbies from being here. I suppose that is what happens when one finally feels comfortable with where they are. Because I have been many places across this land, but very few that I could say were places that I felt comfortable. Moving very often, one act of change,
exhausting.
Sometimes needing to go somewhere else afterwards. Never really staying much longer after trying to make a difference. Because again, for me, I do not personally feel that I deserve the fruits of my labor. The things that I do are not things that I seek to benefit from. I'm well past that point.
Are they so horrible that you don't want to see?
Horrible? No. Things that are sometimes hard to understand, perhaps. But I do them because I feel they are the right thing to do. And I care deeply for those who do not have a voice. The position that I am in, as one that would be able to garner the Empire's favor by being like them. And yet I do not feel at home in it. Like I cannot be myself there. I do not feel like I have been able to freely be myself for a long time, really. Because even if you are like them, if you do not hold dear everything that they do, you are still an outsider. One day I hope that changes.
I can understand that. I wish I could have said that throughout my life. I did the right thing, that I thought.
Thus far, I've always been able to tell myself that it was for the right reasons. The most recent of which is the only one that is hard to decide. For the impacts of it, where it was, I still have yet to see their full ripple. And for once it makes me worry if there are other ways that things could be done. But the one thing that cannot be grasped is the past, and what things have been done have already been done. The only way to go way is forward.
I agree.
I own what I
There's
do.
no reason to be sorrowful and lament the past. For a
I'm
long
literally
time.
admitting to murder right here.
But yes, in a way, as of late, there are some that I've found comfort in their company, and a bit of their interests, I suppose, have become interests of mine as well. Things as simple as going through the forest, appreciating its sounds, its sights, taking joy in seeing the way that some light up when they see a particular plant that they were looking for, appreciating the beauty of the stars, giving people the chance to tell their stories that they have held deep within for so long, and finally have someone who not only is willing to listen, but wants to listen. I suppose in a way that qualifies as a hobby, more so than just a purpose.
You're very good with warmth. Did anyone tell you that? You're good at speaking. Very.
I suppose that simply comes with experience. When you do things a lot, you get better at them. Listening and hearing. And then speaking. But when you've seen a lot, you have a lot of things that you were able to say. That is part of why travel is good. It lets you meet more people, have more things to say about them, to say for them, and everything in between.
You had a pretty hard life.
You have no idea the reality of that statement. In a way, I suppose that what this brings me here. Because the greatest potential for change, for something different than what has always been, exists here. At this crossroads of both fate and people.
Opportunities multiply.
If there is another way forward for me, to where maybe one day I do feel like I deserve the good in life, then perhaps it will be found here.
I hope I will find something similar.
Well, to you, I hope that you're able to find it. That you are in a position where you feel that you do deserve those things. Because it is a feeling that is hard to shake once it hits. Believe me, I've carried that burden for a long time as well.
Yeah. Okay, your question.
Very well, let's see. Are there tales that get passed down a lot from for the people that you're from?
Just try respawning and then running back through.
I know there's likely a lot of different cultures, given that the way you put it, of it being multiple kingdoms, but there are tales here that are very interesting in the way that they are told, and I'm curious if there are things that are akin to legends, things retold a lot by people, whether or not they have necessarily ever interacted with the thing that they are speaking about, or if those stories are even true.
There is a lot of legends in our world. And fascinatingly enough, a lot of them are about elves. For example, dwarf. We have legends about kitsune. We have legends about basically anything you can imagine. That's why I'm saying that our world contains humans. And probably not anymore anyone else.
Well, I can safely say there is nothing like that of having legends for peoples that do not exist. But I suppose that comes with the territory of having a much wider array of people that have their own cultures and how much they cross. But and yet there are still some legends that are passed around. Some gentle, some not. I imagine it is likely the same for you.
Exactly. Some legends are here to tell you what to be careful of. You know, scaring children in the night.
Very much the same
here. Be careful
here.
not going into the forest.
There's one like that too that I am deeply familiar with, in fact. One not for me, but for the kitsune people. It's a...
Yeah.
In a way, it's actually rather, from what I understand, a bit topical for the events as of late. There is... Well, is that something you are interested in hearing about?
Of course.
Ah.
I'm interested in hearing anything from you.
Well, there is a legend that is passed around most notably by the kitsune people, at least those that are around. They are the most reclusive peoples, as they are one of the ones most persecuted by the Empire for their belief of what the Kitsune people are like. Which is why I say it is so interesting that one walks around so openly here. But that legend...
Winston, trying to ask her to
that
leave.
they
Try to get her to leave
almost
first.
used to scare their young into being good.
Like, just say we're done here?
That they,
Yeah, just tell her to leave. Tell her that she has to leave.
If they misbehave, the Black Lotus will come for you. That sort of thing.
Oh.
This tale being one that is like their own. This Black Lotus being a kitsune just like them, but one that they speak of with fear. Because they say that if you misbehave, they will show up to claim your life for being a wicked soul, and that one of their tails would be lost. And every time, the only way that one would know that this had ever happened was this a tail being missing, and a single Black Lotus being left. To most, it is but a legend, and yet there are some that believe that it is true. Although, if it is true, nobody has really ever knows the person, other than they do not understand what could drive them to do the things that they did. But if they were to ever be found, they would certainly be somebody that the Empire would probably fear, for they were the ones that started this legend, were the Kitsune who decided to support the Empire despite all the atrocities that were committed against them. The one that they called the Black Lotus saw that as a act of betrayal against their own kin. Took it upon themselves to right that wrong against their very people. And in that, the stories are born. It is a story that is very familiar to, or at least to many Kitsune. It is a story that they all know their own version of, one way or another. I'm sure if you were to ask one, if you were to meet them, other than Miss Vixen, I believe, the one with the lovely parasol that has the petals, flower-like petals always falling from it. If you were to ask them about that legend, they may give you their own version of it. The stories are always so different, and yet they are always so fascinating, by which details are often the most changed and the most similar.
Very intriguing. Black Lotus.
It is an interesting one to me, simply because of the fact that it is one that I have heard before from my travels, and yet it is one that is topical, for it seems that that very legend was used that day. For what reason? who could really say? I suppose the only one who could
Don't
answer that.
misbehave, or else Black Lotus will come.
Yes. And
Convenient.
but
If the person, Black Lotus, were real and alive today, which is actually maybe more possible because I don't know how long Kitsune lives.
I suppose the only one who could answer that are Kitsune
fascinating to meet them.
themselves. It certainly would be.
Yes.
I'm sure the stories they could tell would be numerous indeed.
Quite
But every legend, to some degree, usually is based in some way off a fact. How much of it is fact, how much is fiction, nobody can ever really say. That is the nature of stories and of legends. They evolve to suit the purpose of which they are being retold.
Indeed.
But if someone like that were to exist, you seem like, for somebody that would be so unsettling to meet, given that they are someone that would very much have blood on their hands. You seem more intrigued to meet them rather than fearful. Why is that?
I find people like that, especially the legends, and if they are alive, they are very old. So, fascinating.
I see.
Discovery.
Well,
they could have told me a lot about this world that no one else knew, probably.
that would be very true. That legend is one that is very old. Probably one of the oldest out of the ones that still are around this day. But keep that belief alive. That is the kind of way of thinking that means that you do not see things in black and white the same way that some of the Empire do. And that makes you interesting to me. Very much one that is
I will take it as
interesting
a
to talk.
compliment.
Yes. At the very least, to find interest in something like that. And I guess some of the, depending on who you were to ask, the darker history of this land. And yet it is all our history all the same.
I would gladly hear about that.
Hmm.
If you happen to find Black Lotus or someone.
Well, like I said, if you ever wanted
Black
to,
Lotus or someone.
if you wanted to hear other versions of that tale from, I doubt any of them would have ever met them, because for the most part, if one were to meet them, it's usually because it is the last thing they are going to see, the way that the stories go. But Miss Vixen, ask them about it. See how they tell the story. See how many different versions of that tale you can gather, and you can start to see where the nature of the tales diverge, what details are the same, what are different. And after that, I'd be interested to hear how many different versions of it you've heard and what you think of them all. That is the nature of stories, after all.
I will definitely do that.
That said, I do believe it is starting to get a bit... Well, it is not... It may not be strictly your original goal with the desire to find ways to produce medicine unheard of in your world, but it is one of the ways to learn about our people. And in learning about our people, you'll learn about many other things, and perhaps it'll bring you closer to the things that you seek.
I hope so. That was a good talk.
Likewise. Again.
Next time I will tell you the legend of Aklis.
I would be very intrigued to hear it. As I said, you're the first that I've had a prolonged conversation with of your people. And I can say if they are all as interesting and fascinating as you are, that I will be very eager to speak to others and hear their stories as well.
I'm sure they are very interesting. People that were sent here are pretty unique. Maybe not as knowledgeable, but unique indeed.
That is indeed true. I should probably check and make sure that the other ladies here are handling fine. I seem to have been away a bit longer than I originally anticipated, but I do not regret it in the slightest.
Me too.
I can't fathom that I just wouldn't be outcast for disagreement.
Sorry?
Oh, pardon me, dearies.
A small pot of soil.
Sorry for being away so long, my dears. I seem to have lost track of time with,
Given how close we are to...
One of the outsiders had very much a desire to chat, and it seemed that the both of us lost so much track of time afterwards. I hope nobody was missing me too heavily.
Oh.
Just mostly glad you're okay.
Well,
Did you hear the news?
The outsiders. Not because I do not trust them, but more than
I may have, but just to make sure what happened.
In the world itself, we do not
Hello,
know
Dr.
how
Yan.
long that gateway might stay open.
One of the
Hello,
outsiders.
is this a tavern?
It is.
I don't know who did it. They're going to be
Bida-
okay from what I heard, but
Bida, is it the same person who's responsible for
Yes.
what happened a few weeks ago?
nobody knows who did it, so
What can we get for you?
no way to tell.
Arrow?
I see.
At least last I heard, nobody knew.
Is that person alright?
I was supposed to keep them.
Oh, that is enough.
From what I heard, they're
They are.
getting treatment. They'd be okay, but
Do you have our currency, or are you still without?
Mayor just said
Not
to keep
yet,
an eye
but I
out.
will grab it
Thank
from the base
Oh,
next.
oh
tomorrow.
for you too.
Bring it.
There's someone left.
It's perfectly alright. We're still working out how to have an arrangement.
Someone.
But you can open a tab for me, and I will pay
Uh,
all of it.
we have something for them.
We're
One of
still
the
working it out. As,
UN people
your
left.
People. Here. The key.
Some food.
The door is just below on the ground floor. You can pick whichever bed, and there's a desk if you need to put any possessions in it. The key will work for both.
Of course.
Alright, I will stroll around a bit, and then I will come back.
Whenever you'd like.
Sienna, did you get a chance to try the that brew that I had brought up the sample from Sahana? They asked that.
I had not, no.
Sure.
Let me
Probably good
ask
idea.
real quick. Zila, where did you leave the that thermos of the stuff for Zila? Yes.
Right here.
Perfect. I'd like to I just brought it up to Sienna, so they are the one most important that I want to try it.
Well, something to plant the flower that she is holding.
Oh.
You could see it's a white rose.
I would like a vine.
I think there might be some in the back there. Some smaller kegs, perhaps?
The strongest is the
We
spice
could
wine.
use one of those.
Oh, I know we're
Not the strongest.
Sahana had brought by this. They called it a thermos, but there was of a brew that they had produced. They had come by asking for a bit of the starter that we use for the bread to help produce it, and in exchange, they would bring a sample of what they made with it, as they were potentially interested, if we liked it, to provide it to the Crystal Heart to add to their inventory. It's a very interesting brew, admittedly. One that I've never quite tasted before. And so far, from those who tried it, they have found it quite intriguing. But as you are the owner, I very much want to ensure that you got a chance to try it to see if there would be something of interest that I could convey to Sahana that perhaps they might have the ability to strike a deal here. If you would like to try it.
Yes, we have something. Shihana, who is this? Is this one of the UN members?
No, it is one of the ones lives here. One who's I do not know the best way to describe, but the colorful horns, recently wearing these things that they called aviators.
Yes. I don't know what that is, but I do know the one that you're speaking of. Yes.
Those weird
I'm certainly
things
welcome to.
But yes, this right here, they described it as something they made with, flavored with sugar, citrus fruits, and spruce bark. But the most interesting thing is the outsiders apparently had tried it as well, and they seemed to have a word that was most interesting to describe it. It's a strong brew, but the way that the outsiders described it was something akin to 7-Up, but with a kick. It's very intriguing.
Yes, I had heard.
I don't know what that means, but...
Why do they have numbers? It doesn't matter.
But it is definitely something of a pretty, it is a fairly strong, but the flavors are not too overpowering.
Oh,
So? Did you need something?
Why does it tingle?
Well, I was curious to see what would happen.
The bubbles inside of it.
I was going to say, it seems to have a bit of there seems to be a bit of bubbles
to
to
the
the
pick
brew.
yet?
Yes, they're trying it right
Yeah.
now.
It seems that there is something that they had mentioned when I was...
I tried it earlier. The bubbles or something.
Yeah, but it's not like the bubbles of ale. It's that's weird.
Burny as well.
That's what I felt, honestly.
Not the
It
loud
was
one.
like being
You
drunk.
would have to ask them about how they made it.
Yeah.
All I know is that it is a very interesting flavor.
It's not unpleasant. It's just
Different.
unexpected. Okay. Yes, I'm more than happy to offer it, and we can come to some arrangement as to the.
If I am able to,
the particulars.
if I'm able to run across them, I'll let them know that it seems the general consensus here is that the staff has generally liked it, and that they would be interested in acquiring more for.
Did you need something?
Providing.
We get 2 more bottles of wine.
2 more bottles of wine. Yes.
Don't overdo it.
Don't know which of these are.
We never.
That one.
As long as you're not like Koyuki was last week.
I kind of want to see it again.
Indeed.
That would be very
A fox
amusing.
in a box.
Here you go, darling.
Did
Put
she,
the next
she did get taken home safely after that, though, right? I had
Thank you.
departed before She was extracted from the
I
box.
put her in a room and she woke up and made her way home in the middle of the night.
Ah,
Let's
good.
see who we can
That's good.
ambush.
Yes. Anyway, I'm sorry. You were saying. It's fine. All I'm saying is that we don't know where our friends.
Be honest. I did Sonia nothing.
You're telling me that story, of course, had nothing to do with you, but you are living that story right now, aren't you?
Do you know the game, the name Kykrist?
Hello.
No. Should I?
You want a drink?
I was thinking of the same place.
It is an interesting place out of the way from everything else. A few of us have started to take solace in it, but it is one of those remnants from a time long past to Valis. This has been here for quite a while, from what I understand. Similar to the shrine out in the forests.
Oh? There's
Yes.
a shrine.
A Kitsune shrine, in fact. Back before.
I didn't see that.
There are similar statues like this outside of it. One of the people that was at that table up there on the balcony is the current caretaker of it and has been trying to restore it, in fact. Which I found
Going
quite...
against the Empire, I guess.
Well, I just found it quite interesting given, well, they are definitely not a kitsune. They are an elf, in fact.
Well.
What? What is it?
It's a wine, not strong one.
I see. Very well, since you are offering as a new friend.
For the friendship.
Anyone who could hold a conversation as long as you is certainly somebody that is worth befriending. Even if you ask those hard-hitting questions like what are hobbies. I can't believe that I was able to give all these wonderful answers and that's the one that trips me up the most.
Well, it's seemingly simple, but in actuality pretty hard. You need to be quite self-aware to
Well, self-aware,
answer that fully.
but in a way the biggest factor is one has to know oneself and what they want in order to know what things they do that bring them joy. Not because they have to do them, but because they want to do them.
That's
Those
pretty
who
big
have
difference,
a pretty
yes.
big grasp on who they are and what they want are the ones that know what sort of things they would deem to be a hobby. While there are those like myself that sometimes find themselves lost, unable to sometimes find what it is that they want, or in other cases, knowing what they want, but not knowing how to get to it.
That's why we need friends, right?
Would you believe that is something that is a bit of a foreign feeling for me as well? I've been many places, but I never stuck around very long for me to ever feel like that I had many friends, and those that were incredibly eager to be friends immediately were the ones that I sometimes found myself trying to avoid a bit because, well, I would not understand why they'd want to befriend somebody.
Understand it.
And yet here, I have found at least one that I would deem to be someone that I would actually call a friend. And it is a new feeling. However, I can safely say that the commonality seems to be those that I can have a deeper conversation with and have a dialogue between two minds where they are both seeking to understand without judging, wanting to further knowledge without necessarily having a purpose for it. But yes, perhaps not tonight. Maybe not even in the coming days, but as I know that you said that this was your day off, and that probably implies that there are days that you do not have off. I could introduce, I could show you where in the forest that shrine is. Perhaps at that point tell you a bit more about, well, not necessarily the people who built it, but the people of whom it represents. As they are among one of the more interesting stories of this place.
I will do that with pleasure.
Then the next day that you have a day off, feel free to come find me. I can pull myself away, and I'm sure that we can have another lovely bit of time together.
I agree.
But yes, it is a nice quiet place, for even Valis, in all of its quaintness, has its places that can get rather loud. Maybe not in the night per se, but during the day, this is a nice refuge away from the energy of the places more traveled.
He's a good friend of mine, but I think some things I've said tonight might have made him very uncomfortable. Would you like to come to the shrine to me? I could show it to you. Otherwise, we could talk again.
Considering what has happened, I think
everything all right
here might be for the best.
What happened, dear doctor?
That's fair.
The whole thing was attacked.
I wanted to talk to you.
What?
Excuse me?
Alleyway, 2 steps to the back.
Back there.
There?
Someone was attacked. That's what you're telling me. You know, I used to be a detective.
Is he okay?
Do you have any leads?
He's,
you know what happened?
He's fine.
Stable condition?
He's stable. Musso helped patch him up. Give him some sort of alchemical concoction that's helped seal his wounds. He's fine.
So,
excuse me, what?
Yes, Musa thinks, the rat folk, if you see him around, they might be someone of interest.
I know him, yeah.
Well, for your goal you talked about.
Okay, I definitely need to speak to him.
After you, my friend.
Hey.
It's good to see you
Sorry.
again.
Yes.
Miko.
I hope you are able to
Be
have
careful.
a comfortable night despite that news, it seems.
I'll do my best.
That is
That's
a huge mistake.
I know. That one, by the way, is the shrine keeper that I was just talking about.
I gathered by the way he talked about the shrine. Apparently, actually, as soon as I know, I will tell you. Because someone talked about oracles in town and keep it low, so I don't know who, but...
Like I said,
find out then.
when it comes to that matter of those questions that define what side someone is on, some are much more firm in those beliefs than others. And while there are some that are more measured with their actions, others may not necessarily be so. The topic of the oracles is very much one of the ones that can elicit the most extreme responses. Because they are the ones that, for some, see them as the ones most responsible for the suppression of people. And that is a story for another time, though it is late.
But also, attacking Wolfgang. Don't you mind to accompany me for a while? Because I'm scared to go alone.
Of course.
Like for 5 minutes, no more.
If I'm with you, you will be protected, I am sure.
That's good to hear. So, where he was stabbed, I need...
It wasn't even me this time.
DM present. Hello DM. I'm trying to figure out where our UN person, Wolfgang, was stabbed. It was here? One second. Somewhere.
Oh,
Okay, I'm sorry, what was the question?
where's the tower?
My question, I'm trying to figure out where
that you send the
Wolfgang,
letters for the
our
Harpies
UN
tower,
person
the one
was
the
stabbed.
couriers.
I think you
was here?
might need...
Oh.
It's you have to go around the wall a bit, but it's on the other side. It's that corner of town, but I believe you have to go around the wall here, and it's up over that way.
I apologize. I was quite miffed. I feel like I'm in the middle of a dream that I hope would end, and then I'd wake up and it wasn't real. But I lost a friend.
Alley here.
You lost a friend.
A glistening on the second half of the steps.
I do not necessarily know how to address that exactly, but
I do believe if I speak to him any longer, my lord wouldn't take so kindly to it. Are you familiar with the story of the Pretender?
Not completely, if you're willing to tell it.
Well, the story goes. I hope you don't mind. I wish to write my letter in the meantime.
Of course. I'm just maintaining eyesight on my companion here. They asked me to keep them company due to their fright of the events of the day, it seems. But I am listening.
I see. Let me take a seat. So, from what I have been, the way I've been told this story, this should be flat enough right here. So the story goes, within the northeast, there arose an elf who claimed that he had the same foresight as the oracles of the Prima Academy, that he trained under their tutelage for many decades.
Oh dear.
But
quite a claim to make openly. That is quite the claim to make openly for somebody. Usually oracles do not take kindly to that.
Oh, that is quite the point. You see, this collection of towns within the Northeast did not see directly the hand of fate, and so many had taken his word quite to heart. With many shows of charisma, he was able to take advantage and drain many of those towns for all they were worth. But
I feel like I see where
very
the
quickly
title Pretender comes from.
Oh yes. The claim of this pretender was that he had graduated from the academy just prior, and that instead of staying within the councils of the academy towns, that he decided, or he was preordained by fate to travel there and to show them the guiding hand, so to speak.
I see.
Unfortunately, the oracles are quite
unforgiving.
They see the hand that we don't, and yes, they do not take kindly, as you said, to someone.
If I don't come out of there, I'm dead.
Please do not die. That would be very unfortunate.
Oh, of course it would be very unfortunate. So they did not take kindly to his claiming to show them the hand of fate, when in reality he was showing them to whatever fate that he wanted. Well, in the end, the oracles, in a very large show of force, executed him publicly. It was quite gruesome, from what I have heard of the tale, but as a pretender, it was quite a necessary gruesomeness. And I fear that Cain may seek the same fate if he is to continue pretending to have been an oracle himself.
You believe that he is pretending?
Sorry, I have to keep writing. You just claimed to me earlier that he was an oracle once.
I have heard the same explanation. But for me, it is really no business of mine to decide who is and isn't able to have pursued one. However, I will say that the fact that he said that he did not agree with them despite having been one is a very dangerous thing to say if the wrong person were to hear about it. Because it is one thing for someone to pretend to have the gift of being an oracle, but to actually have had that one, to have that gift, and then denounce it. I fear that would be something that they would take an even greater offense than the act of pretending. So for his...
He claimed that the oracle magic is dying. He wishes to turn the town into Paywinists. I fear.
Well, it is not something that is openly said, but he is not the only one that has made rumor or hinted at that being a possibility. Not necessarily from here, but in my travels, that there is the potential that the claims of that magic being harder to cast is indeed a potential validity. I do not have a way to verify these claims, but when there are enough people saying it, who are not connected to one another. It makes you wonder. As for your worry,
It's a spreading illness.
I do not necessarily know what to say about that, as it is only at least unless I see some direct action of it, it would be a presumption of intent.
Right. Well, the way I see it, it seems to be a sort of spreading plague. I've heard that the Circle Cities are full of people that believe that fate does not exist, and that they can decide the direction of their lives willingly. And I fear that it may have spread to places like here next to the cantons, as we're not too far from it, I'm afraid.
Well, to that I ask you a question that would define where you stand in your own life. Do you think that free will exists?
Do I believe that free will exists? Well, the oracles guide us to our fate. There's no question about it.
I see.
Apologies, let me just sign this.
Of course.
There we are.
Well then, say that your worry came true. What would that mean to you?
Well, it wouldn't quite mean anything, really. I would simply live my life the same way that I always have. After all, what someone else believes does not change the fate that guides me. I still have my morning breakfast, my afternoon duties at the gambling den, and I still have my regular evening smokes, speaking of which.
To that I can simply say then, if that is something that makes you happy, if this is a life that makes you happy to live, then that is something you should grasp onto.
Oh, I've always been happy with my life. Would you care for a puff yourself?
I will pass, but thank you for the offer.
And you?
I will pass as well.
Very well. More for me then.
But this letter you are writing, it seemed that it was tied to your worries or the story that you were telling, unless it just so happened to be something that was on your mind at the same time. You are writing to a friend.
On my mind at the same time. Yes, actually, exactly that. I am writing to an old friend of mine, June Oakheart. I have known him for most of my life, actually.
And from where do they hail?
From the same place as myself, the Oneros Woodlands, in the northwest. Up by the Vassal Lands. Quite different but similar to the Vassal Lands, if that makes sense.
A very beautiful place.
Have you ever been there?
It has been some time, but I have passed through there before. I very much enjoyed the sights there. It was one of the places that I feel I enjoyed a bit more than the others, simply for its natural beauty.
Oh yes, I do love how organized and, I guess grid-like everything is. It's so easy to find where to go.
Of course. But yes.
I don't believe I've gotten your name.
Yes, My name is Miko. I am one of the staff of the Crystal Heart.
I do remember seeing you there. I hadn't taken the time to introduce myself, and to you, me, of course. I'm Rowan Emberhorn. It's a pleasure.
A pleasure to make your acquaintance. Well, I have never actually quite been over to that tower myself, so I hope that my directions are a bit accurate, but I at least know that it is up that way, and it's a bit of having to kind of go around the buildings to get over to it.
Well, if we can find out together then, come.
Perhaps. It's been a long time since I have ever sent a letter to anybody. I don't know if there's a way to get around out there from here, otherwise you would have to go around the walls.
We may have to go toward the front, won't we?
Actually, I think if you were to just... You can...
Oh,
it's
I
not...
might have to.
It's not technically the way you should get over here, but... It is a way up there.
Oh, if you could help me. Oh, never mind.
Yes.
Oof. I'm not as athletic as I used to be as a deerling.
But yes, this is the this is the tower right here. I believe those are the stairs that lead up to it.
Oh,
to actually normally get there, I believe... if you go through what was once the market, it looks like it comes around over here. I've never quite actually been back this far, because I've never really sent a letter to anybody. There's nobody I've ever really thought to write to before.
You don't have any... Wait, where are you from? Do you have any family back home?
Who's to really say? I haven't been home in a long time. It's really hard to even think about
you should
what's
certainly write back.
I have doubt that they'd want to hear from someone like me.
What's that supposed to mean?
A question indeed. That is one that would be very difficult to answer. It's just one that I carry with me. Until I came here, I didn't really have much in the way of people that I would consider close. It's rapidly changing, as a lot of things seem to be. This place is a catalyst for it. It's given a lot of
quite a change in my life, that's for sure.
That it has. That said, it is growing late and I'm going to be retiring to my abode here. But
of course.
It was a good talk to you. It was a pleasure to talk to you. And to you as well, Doctor. I hope to see you again on your next day off. But I will be retiring for the night, if you will excuse me.
I do hope I will see you tomorrow morning.
More than likely, yes. If you'd stop by the tavern.
Have a good night.
That's usually where I'm always found.
Well, I always do. Custard for breakfast every day.
Routine as always. You poor soul. If you knew what it was like to be able to decide things for yourself. You would be able to see so much more of the world around you. if you used your own eyes instead of someone else's. Those are the people that I try to save. Those who do not know what it is like to be able to think. That individual is a very interesting one, though. Miss Anastasia. What would it be like for them to meet the Black Lotus? Their answer is intriguing. If only they knew that they already have. And yet they do not fear that legend the way it was told. Maybe one of the others will. Shall we see? Right, I am fairly certain that there is no way they would want to hear from me. Who would want to hear from a kinslayer, after all?